All right, a little double dose of hard in the paint. Looks like James Harden has been going hard in the gym.
Hard. Wow.
In China. Swole.
It's called filters, Jamel. Filters on Instagram. Instagram's got filters for everything. And you really believe that's James Harden?
I do believe it. And I appreciate seeing taco meat, and it's not even Tuesday. I'm just saying. All right, Taylor.
Today's a good day because you just said taco meat.
It's been a good day, so we're going to tell you who else had a good day. How about my colleague, Claire Smith, being recognized at the Yankees-Mets game tonight for receiving the J.G. Taylor Spink Award 2 weeks ago. She threw out the first pitch.
I would agree with that. Today's also a good day because in about 7 seconds on ESPN2, 28 hours straight of fantasy football. You and I are hanging out for 28 hours.
We are?
28 hours.
We're
going to watch I'll bring the beer. You're in charge of food.
I am?
We're going to invite anyone else? Yeah.
Okay. I'll bring
28 hours.
I won't bring
fantasy
hummus,
football. There's zero chance I'm hanging out with her for 28
That's it for us. Fantasy football, as we said, is next on ESPN2. Mets.
Welcome to Monday Night Baseball on ESPN, presented by USAA. We are back in the Bronx again for the first night of the Subway Series. The Yankees will host the Mets tonight and tomorrow, and then they will head to Citi Field for 2 more games between the 2 New York teams on Wednesday and Thursday. The Yankees, of course, coming off a series in which they lost 2 out of 3 to Boston. They're now 5.5 back in the American League East. They are in the top wild card spot right now in the American League, but there are a whole lot of teams right on their heels. Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Bronx. Dan Schulman, Jessica Mendoza, and Aaron Boone. Let's start with the Yankees, and let's start with Aaron Judge. Aaron Boone, what do you see right now in Aaron Judge?
Well, I see a timing issue for Aaron Judge. Lots been made of his second half struggles and him routinely chasing balls out of the strike zone right now. And I really think it's all about timing. As soon as his timing syncs up, I think we'll start to see more of the first half Aaron Judge. And last night, that timing was a little roughed up. Early in the game, he almost hit a home run on an off-speed pitch from Chris Sale, a little bit out in front, and then after that, the Boston Red Sox and their hard throwers really attack Judge at the top of the zone and up above the zone, something that's been a problem. As he gets more on time, he'll start to lay off the pitches out of the zone, but get to more of those fastballs up. I do believe it's a matter of time for him. Maybe tonight against Montero, a good night to bust out.
As for the Mets, not a factor in the race this year. It's been a disappointing season, a lot of injuries. They've traded away a number of veterans and looking more to the future, and a lot of that future is in uniform for the Mets right now.
Well, they've had a couple young players come up, and Ahmed Rosario, Dom Smith, the last couple weeks, and fuse a little bit of that energy. But really, when you think about the nucleus of this team, who the best hitter is in this lineup, it's Michael Conforto. And this was a guy out of spring training. He wasn't even sure if he'd have a spot on the roster, and he has had a career season, and he's leading the Mets in every offensive category, from the power numbers to the batting average, and especially since the All-Star break, really showing the power. 12 home runs, second most in the majors. But this is a team, yes, looking to the future, but they're relying a lot on their youth to do it.
Game 1 of 4 this week, 2 in the Bronx, 2 at Citi Field between the Yankees and Mets. Looking forward to bringing you tonight's game. But first, back to the studio. Here are John Brickley and Pedro Gomez.
Okay, Dan, thanks so much. To the Yankees, 4 games below 500 in the month of August. A season high, Pedro. 5.5 games back in the AL East of the Red Sox. Speaking of Boston, in action today against Cleveland, a makeup game from August 2nd. And Francisco Lindor getting Cleveland with a 2-run single. Both these teams starting to separate themselves in their respective divisions.
They really are. The Indians have pulled away in the Central and continue to do so. And Lindor, a big reason why. This guy was second place Rookie of the Year 2 years ago, and is just getting better every single season.
Rafael Devers with the 3-1, the solo home run to make it a 3-1 game in favor of Cleveland. A look at Yankee Stadium in the Bronx, the next chapter of the Subway Series coming up. Dan, Jess, and Booney with the call on the other side of the break.
No, I think he's all right.
Mike and I are both veterans, both served in the Navy. I do outrank my husband, not just being in the military, but at home.
She thinks she's the boss. She only had me by 1 grade. We bought our first home together in 2010.
His family had used another insurance product, but I was like, I've had USAA for a while. Why don't we call and check the rates?
It was instant savings, and I should have changed a long time ago.
There's no point in looking elsewhere, really. We're the Tennies, and we're USAA members for life.
USAA. Get your insurance quote today.
What if we could stream live sports, our favorite shows and TV channels, with no annual contracts or surprise fees? What if we could watch live TV on our favorite devices? What if we could get the TV experience we always wanted? What if we never again had to ask, what if? TV has changed. It's time to change how we get it. This is PlayStation Vue. Start your free trial today.
PlayStation. I sold my dream house to buy my first Domino's store.
I built my store with my bare hands.
I used my college savings to buy my store. It means everything to me.
But we've decided to tear them down.
We love what we do, but not where we do it. Come and see our remodeled stores when you carry out large 3-topping pizzas for $7.99 each every day.
Infinity, empower the drive.
Cirque du Soleil presents A Waking Dream of Mexico. Lucia, where rain predicts the future. Lucia, and light reveals the truth. Lucia by Cirque du Soleil. Open September 14th under the Big Top at Atlantic Station. Tickets on sale now at cirquedusoleil.com.
Kia, Chick-fil-A, and the Chick-fil-A kickoff games are teaming up to kick this year's college football season off Kia style. Register now. You could win a pair of tickets to one of 2 Chick-fil-A kickoff games, a $100 gift card, and a chance to kick for a 2018 Kia Turbo Soul. During Alabama versus Florida State on Saturday, September 2nd, or during Georgia Tech versus Tennessee on Monday, September 4th. Visit thebigcarkickoff.com today to register for your chance to win.
Monday Night Baseball on ESPN is presented by USAA. Insurance, banking, and investments tailored for the military community. And in part by PlayStation Vue. Watch the biggest moments in sports. Try it free today. The Yankees taking the field as we get set for this game tonight. The Subway Series between the Yankees and the Mets. And taking the field as we speak is this year's winner of the J.G. Taylor Spink Award. This is the highest award that the Baseball Writers Association of America gives, and the honoree this year is our own Claire Smith, who used to work for a number of dailies around the northeast part of the country and was honored at Cooperstown by the Baseball Hall of Fame with the award. A nice pregame ceremony, and now Claire is going to throw out a first pitch. She's a southpaw.
Yeah, Claire.
Nicely done.
Very nicely done.
One of the nicest people you will ever meet, and the first female reporter, first female writer to win the J.G. Taylor Spink Award. Our congratulations again to Claire, who couldn't be more. Yeah, she couldn't be beaming more, but couldn't be more humble about her own impact and her own accomplishments, and more self-deprecating, and couldn't be a nicer person. And everybody knows her, a real trailblazer.
Huge influence for other women in the industry.
Absolutely.
Too.
And a big hug from Curtis Granderson. And we'll talk a little bit more about Granderson because he's going to lead it off as we take a look at the starting lineups tonight. Brought to you by Dell. We begin with the visitors from Queens.
Well, Jess talked about it a little bit in the open, but a couple of the big-time prospects now in this Mets lineup getting an opportunity these final weeks of the season. Dom Smith up just a few days ago, the number 23 prospect rated by Keith Law in Major League Baseball, and Ahmed Rosario, who's now been up a couple weeks, hit his first home run the other day, has really upgraded the defense with his athleticism at shortstop, and the number 1 prospect ranked by Keith Law. And you're getting a look at the future with Dom Smith and Ahmed Rosario in the Mets lineup right now.
Spot start for the Yankees tonight, called up from the minors today. Right-hander Luis Cessa, who, as you can see, has made a handful of appearances for the Yankees already this season. Originally signed by the Mets organization back in 2008, began his career as an infielder, converted to a pitcher in 2011, was traded to the Tigers in the Cespedes-Fulmer deal in 2015, and then acquired by the Yankees in December of 15 in the Justin Wilson trade. The Yankees are without both CC Sabathia and Masahiro Tanaka. This is Tanaka's spot in the rotation, so Joe Girardi and the Yankees have had to dip down into their system a couple of times in recent days to find some starting pitchers. Just lost 2 out of 3 to Boston, lost a tough one last night, gave up a lead late, lost it in extra innings. And underway with the first pitch strike to Curtis Granderson. Granderson, a guy who of course has played for both of these organizations, hitting .230, 17 home runs on the season, a free agent at the end of the year, and perhaps a guy who could still be dealt by the end of August. The Mets have already traded away the likes of Lucas Duda, Jay Bruce, Addison Reed, Neil Walker.
Granderson and Cabrera, first 2 hitters in this lineup, could certainly be on their way.
Cessa takes something off, and he's in there for a strike, 2-2.
Cessa, mid-upper 90s fastball, and his best secondary pitch is that changeup he just threw in there to Curtis Granderson. Also throw a slider and a curve, but command a big issue with Cessa.
Strike 3 called on the inside corner. Let's go back to the studio, get an early update. Here's Brick.
Dan, Andrew Benintendi batting over .450 this month against the Indians tonight. Pedro getting the Red Sox within 1.
You know, I know everybody has anointed Aaron Judge Rookie of the Year, but if Judge continues to slide and Benintendi continues to climb, could still be a race.
Guys, back to you.
All right, guys, thank you. He had 2 3-run homers in this ballpark here in the Bronx Saturday. Had an RBI single in the 10th inning last night to give the Red Sox the lead and eventually the win. And he has hit his 17th home run of the season already tonight. The Indians and the Red Sox an early start, getting started just after 6 o'clock Eastern time.
I don't know if there's been a hotter hitter in the month of August. And that was coming off some struggles, got a couple days off, but Benintendi, a lot of hype coming into the season, and he is not disappointed.
Joe Girardi, when we spoke with him before last night's game, extremely complimentary of Benintendi and how long his bat stays level and through the hitting zone. Said he, quote, has a beautiful swing. As Drupal Cabrera finds a hole on the right side, and he's got a base hit.
You could tell last night the way Joe Girardi was managing. It was almost like he was managing knowing where Benintendi was in the lineup. And that's the kind of respect he's starting to garner.
1 on, 1 out for the Mets here in the top of the first. And the batter will be Yoenis Cespedes. An injury-plagued season for him. This is just his 70th game. He's got 14 home runs on the year, 3 of them in his last 5 games after hitting only 2 in his previous 32 games. And a strike.
He's been seeing it put pretty big the last week. You mentioned the last 5 games, 6 RBIs, the 3 home runs, but even just watching his at-bats, his takes, just not that anxiousness when a lot of times you're coming off the disabled list on and off, trying to make something happen.
That fastball hits 99 for Cessa, but he misses just inside.
Yeah, the stuff not an issue for Cessa. It's just consistently commanding it in the strike zone. Already a few 99s he's thrown in there.
At the knees with a slider, and it is 1-2. The Mets will hit their fair share of home runs. They lead the National League with 174 homers, but they rely an awful lot on those home runs for offense. Tough for them at times to score in different ways as Cessa strikes out Cespedes.
Well, after commanding the strike zone and getting ahead of Cespedes with both the fastball and the slider, he goes with the 2-strike nasty slider at 88 miles an hour. That's an outstanding pitch right there. It's a late breaking north and south at 88 miles an hour. That thing starts in the zone and breaks down and out of it. Well executed pitch ahead in the count by Luis Cessa.
Now Michael Conforto, who had been hitting leadoff a lot, but with all the trades that the Mets have made, Terry Collins has juggled the lineup a little bit. And Conforto now with his 26 home runs, he's down in the cleanup spot. He's in the top 10 of the National League in OPS. He's got 12 home runs since the All-Star break. And the only guy in baseball who's got more than that since then is the unstoppable force that is Giancarlo Stanton right now. He's got 16 since the All-Star break as the Yankees have the shift on against the left-hand hitting Conforto. Stanton's got 42 home runs on the season right now. He might cruise past 50 before the season's done.
Scary what he's doing right now. And I think really buying into that kind of less is more. We've seen him kind of, you think of the home run derbies that he's been in the last 2 years. Of course, winning it 2 years ago and then faring a good showing this year, but kind of slowing himself down and understanding he has so much power, and he's in a locked-in zone right now.
Well, his less is still more than most.
Exactly.
Yes. His 70% is more than most.
1-2 the count on Conforto, and he goes around, strikes out. Inning over. 3 strikeouts in the inning for Cessa. Man left on for the Mets. Yankees coming up when we come back.
At Ally, we offer low rates on home loans. But if that's not enough, we offer our price match guarantee, too. And if that's not enough,
we should move.
Our home team will help you every step of the way. Still not enough?
Smaller than I'd like.
We'll help you finance your dream home.
It's perfect. Oh, was this built on an ancient burial ground?
Okay, then we'll have her cleanse your house of evil spirits. We'll do anything, seriously anything, to help you get your home. Ally, do it right.
Touching hands, reaching out, touching me, touching you, sweet Caroline. Good times never seem so good. So good! So good!
Make your commute a little sweeter in the newly redesigned Hyundai Sonata, our best Sonata ever.
Summon Terragon the Brain.
He's at the podiatrist.
Going into battle without the best team? Bad fantasy. Drafting your team from anywhere? Good fantasy. Sign up now at ESPN.com/goodfantasy.
We go to the bottom of the first here in the Bronx. No score between the Mets and the Yankees. And let's check out the Yankee starting lineup now. It is brought to you by Dell.
Well, Aaron Boone talked about Aaron Judge in the open, but it's the two guys that bookend him. Aaron Hicks, who has been a defensive star. We've seen it this last weekend against the Red Sox, but also putting up big offensive numbers, having career high 11 home runs and 39 RBI this season. And then on the back end, after Judge's Didi Gregorius quietly having his best season, he is hitting 40 points higher than he has his career best. This is a guy who has not gotten a lot of attention, but he is having a phenomenal season for the Yankees.
On the mound tonight for the Mets, a guy who has had a tough season to say the least, Rafael Montero, getting a little more action because of the injuries to the likes of Noah Syndergaard, Matt Harvey, and so on. 1-8 with an ERA over 6 on the season. He's given up 13 earned runs in his last 13 1/3 innings, covering his last 3 starts. Brett Gardner will lead it off for the Yankees and take a fastball in there for his strike.
Like Cessa, stuff not an issue. You're going to see mid-90s with the fastball, slider, and at times a really good changeup. Again, it just comes down to the command. 35 walks in 65 1/3 innings.
Montero out of the Dominican Republic, signed as a non-drafted free agent by the Mets back in 2011, made his major league debut in 2014, against the Yankees. And the first batter he faced was Brett Gardner. Gave up a base hit to Gardner.
How did he do? And his first strikeout
was Derek Jeter.
That's a heck of
so
a
he can hang his hat on that. Gardner with a career-high 19 home runs on the season, but he comes into this game tonight struggling. Just 3 for his last 30. Gardner at left, Hicks in center, Judge in right, Ellsbury on the bench again for the Yankees. Having trouble getting back to regular playing time since he's come off the DL, and good movement on that ball down and away from Gardner. Montero rings him up.
Well, back-to-back real quality changeups there on the 2-1 to get back into the count at 2-2, and then they're fading it down and away. This is his best pitch, and when he can command with his fastball, it allows him to set up that really good changeup where you just see it kind of fade and tail down and away, and Gardner out in front and over the top of that one. The first out, Montero off and running.
Now Hicks, the center fielder, just back a few days ago from a stint on the DL, missed about 6 weeks with an oblique injury. And he's been a real nice piece for the Yankees this year, hitting for some power, got some speed, can play all 3 outfield spots. The impact he's had, the development of Judge, 2 of the reasons why Ellsbury is really a part-time player right now, his contract notwithstanding. Still big numbers on the season for Judge in spite of the fact he has struggled since the All-Star break. Jacoby Ellsbury now just trying to find some playing time when he can. Occasional starts. He'll come on to pinch hit, pinch run. And every now and again, too, Joe Girardi, he'll cycle one of the outfielders through the DH spot. So that's how they can all get in there as well. Matt Holliday is on the DL right now with a lower back issue. So that frees up the DH spot for one of the outfielders, or maybe Gary Sanchez, or in tonight's case, Didi Gregorius. (3-1). Hard hit ball, but right at the second baseman Cabrera. 2 down. So now Aaron Judge gets his first trip to the plate tonight. The struggles he's had in the second half don't seem to have diminished his popularity here in the Bronx.
I think his presence alone, every time he gets in that batter's box, the numbers might tell you he's not hitting well right now, but there isn't a doubt in a Yankees fan mind that he can't do damage each time he comes to the plate.
1 home run ahead of Kansas City's Mike Moustakas for the American League lead.
And that right there is what we've seen a lot of, him routinely going out of the strike zone with that down and away slider, and then teams climbing the ladder with the fastball.
Or painting the corner with a fastball.
Yeah, and what I talked about in the open with him not being on time. When you're on time as a hitter, you get in that hitting position at the right time. It allows you to see the ball and react to pitches in the best way. And right now, when you're a little late getting into hitting position, you got to catch up, and you're behind on the fastball, but you're ahead of the off-speed pitch, and that's what we're seeing with him, and we're seeing him chase a little bit more. So the counts he was creating positively in the first half, now a lot more 1-2, 2-2 instead of that 2-1, 3-1, because he's able to lay off pitches, and I think it's all about timing for him.
Everybody is on the Judge bandwagon here in the Bronx this year. Arguably as good a player as there was in the league in the first half of the season. MVP candidate throughout the first half of the season, and maybe not so anymore. Strike 3 called. Montero with a good start. A couple of strikeouts in a 3-up, 3-down inning, and we're scoreless at the end of 1.
This summer, a Wendy's Frosty is just 50 cents.
So feel free to freak out, because now's the best time to indulge a little, or a lot. Do you?
the 50-cent Frosty. Available for a limited time at Wendy's.
Adults are just kids with much, much better toys. The C-Class sedan, coupe, and cabriolet. The thrills keep getting better. Lease the C300 sedan for $399 a month at your local Mercedes-Benz dealer. Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing.
This is a story about mail and packages, and it's also a story about people. And while we make more e-commerce deliveries to homes than anyone else in the country, we never forget that your business is our business. The United States Postal Service. Priority, you.
This season on baseball, New York City is very excited about their fresh crop. We wanted to take a moment to remind them about how things go in New York. Like, you have to be pushy. You gotta take what you want. Because in New York, you ain't here to sightsee. Welcome to the Bronx, boys.
All rise. It's Judgment Day.
That's this season on baseball.
John Brickley, Pedro Gomez in our Baseball Tonight studio, and Rafael Devers, another sighting for the Sox, his second home run of the game, Pedro.
You know, he just came up. We talk about Aaron Judge and Benintendi. Rafael Devers, if he had been up all year, imagine the Rookie of the Year voting.
Giants, Marlins, and Giancarlo Stanton, franchise record, 43rd home run of the season on a tear.
Step aside, Gary Sheffield, the new Marlins single-season record.
2-0, guys. Back to you.
Wow. All right, guys, thank you. That's the 5th game in a row in which Stanton has homered. The Major League record is 8. 43rd, as Pedro mentioned, that's a new Marlins record. 10 home runs in 13 games in the month of August for the Major League leader, Giancarlo Stanton. Wilmer Flores leads off the second for the Mets. And how about Rafael Devers, who hit a home run off Aroldis Chapman here last night to tie the game in the 9th, and has homered twice already tonight against the Indians.
Yeah, he pulled his first homer, then went opposite field. I mean, just to be able to, went opposite field and then pulled his second home run just today alone. But showing off that power to all fields.
Flores hits it hard but foul down the left field line. Meanwhile, last night, Aroldis Chapman on the mound, a 1-run lead for the Yankees in the 9th. A 102.8 mile per hour pitch that went out at 105. A home run to the opposite field, better than 400 feet for the 20-year-old Rafael Devers. That would tie into the 9th, and the Red Sox would win it in 10.
Get used to hearing that name, Rafael Devers. That is a awesome approach, awesome swing, and he showed off some awesome power the other way going out of the biggest part of this ballpark last night.
Well, and no one has ever hit a ball. I'm going to go ahead and say it. It's been since 2008. StatCast powered by AWS tells us that 102.8 miles an hour in the pitch tracking era. It's the hardest ball that's ever been hit out. But I'm going to go ahead and out on a limb and say there has not been 102.9 or 103 miles per hour before that that's been hit out. I don't think anyone threw that hard before Chapman.
First home run Chapman's allowed all season.
First home run he'd allowed to a lefty in 6 years. Full count on Flores, getting the start at third base tonight, hitting .287, and he'll take it high, ball 4. Leadoff man is on. And that will allow us our first look tonight at one of the Mets prospects just called up a few days ago, big first baseman Dom Smith. First round pick back in 2013. Hit .330 with 16 homers and 34 doubles at AAA this year. He's 2 for 10 so far in the big leagues. He is known for his offense much more than his defense. And there's a little bit of talk around the Mets about his conditioning and his size, that could develop into a concern, but they like the bat.
I was talking to Dick Scott, one of the coaches for the Mets, before the game a little bit about Dom Smith, and he really likes the way he carries himself. Dan, he feels like defensively he's going to be a solid first baseman, and they feel like with the addition and the youth that he and Rosario bring, perhaps a much needed athleticism to a team, especially in the infield, that has struggled mightily defensively.
Rosario on deck. He's only been up for a couple of weeks right now for the Mets. The midseason, Keith Law's midseason #1 ranked prospect in the sport. And so with the way the Mets have struggled this year, some of the trades they've made, it's time to turn the page a little bit and turn it over to some of the younger players and see what they've got.
And I like the timing of bringing them up too. So it wasn't right at the trade deadline, not right before it. It was kind of, they were able to kind of come up when a lot of the players had started to be traded away.
This could be 2, and it is easily.
Well, a huge double play right there for the Yankees and Luis Cessa. Cessa, who had a real strong first inning, striking out 3. After walking the first batter, he falls behind 2-0 to Dom Smith. Gets a visit to the mound from Gary Sanchez. All of a sudden just struggling. A little off-speed pitch there, though, that Dom Smith's out in front of and off the end. Pretty nice play by Frazier to turn it into an easy double play, and perhaps a chance now for Cessa to settle down. Again, command can be a bugaboo for him.
Drills in a fastball for a strike at 100 miles per hour to 21-year-old Ahmed Rosario. Hitting .256 so far in the big leagues. You can see his numbers at AAA Las Vegas. Scouts and coaches will rave about how athletic he looks in the field, how fluid he is in the field. At the plate, there's a lot of talent. There's not a lot of discipline. He will chase. He has not walked yet as a big leaguer. Off the end of the bat, he's got himself a base hit.
That's part of what that aggressiveness will get you. And as much as you want him to have more discipline, part of his game is to be able to hit pitches that really, it looks like K-Zone barely had it as a strike, but this is a slider going away from him. He's able to reach out, very comfortable. You look at the length of this swing off the end of the bat, but very comfortable being able to go and get a pitch. It's really a pitcher's pitch for a base hit.
So a 2-out base hit for Rosario, and remember, he's got speed. Sanchez behind the plate, a strong arm. And ball 1 to the Mets catcher, Rene Rivera, hitting .234. Runner goes. Pitch taken for a strike. Throw down. Hits Rosario. He appears to be okay, so it bounces over to short. Stolen base easily, his second.
Well, good break by Rosario over there at first base, and Gary Sanchez with that strong arm, I think, just didn't get in real good throwing position. You see the break, you see the good speed, head down, thinking about this stolen base the whole way, and that throw just sails kind of into him. And fortunate for the Yankees that ball bounces right to the shortstop. Otherwise, Rosario's on third base right now.
Ground ball to short, and that's the inning. A walk, a base hit, double play, a man left, no score.
Progress is seizing the moment. Your summer moment awaits you now that the Summer of Audi sales event is here. Audi will cover your first month's lease payment on select models during the Summer of Audi sales event.
With so many projects in the works, it seems like Dwayne Johnson can't possibly take on any more.
Well, that sounds like a challenge. Hey Siri, give me a Lyft ride to LAX.
Mr. Nakamura can discuss your fashion line.
I'm out. Rock. Hey Siri, take a selfie.
Inside the rack houses of Jim Beam, thousands of barrels lay silent. Aging, building a fuller, smoother flavor. that only comes from being aged 4 long years. At Jim Beam, our history's made from the inside. How will you make yours? Now try Jim Beam Apple, poured over ice and served with club soda and a fresh lemon wedge to make a crisp, refreshing Jim Beam Apple and soda.
I was playing golf a couple of days ago.
I love golf.
I used to love golf.
Wait, what? What happened?
I was having a good round, and then my friend, Sheila, right as I was stepping into the tee box, mentioned a tip a pro gave her.
No.
Yep.
Did it help?
It completely ruined my game.
Yeah, well, the truth is, that advice was never meant for you.
I like you.
Do you want to show me your swing?
Oh, yeah.
Get advice that's right for you. Investment management services from TD Ameritrade.
Rick and Pedro back in the clubhouse. Rays and the Blue Jays both fighting for that final wild card spot. Josh Donaldson, a reason why for Toronto.
And amazingly, Blue Jays are 5 games under 500, yet they're only 4 games out of that second wild card spot.
As for the Indians and the Red Sox, Edwin Encarnacion breaking the 3-all tie with his 25th home run of the season, guys.
All right, guys, thank you. So a lot going on the out-of-town scoreboard already on a Monday. Not everybody is playing, but some games of significance going on. That Blue Jay team with Josh Donaldson heating up, they have never been 500, even once this year. They have not reached the 500 point at any point.
And
they've not been better than tied for 4th in their division. They've never even looked down on a team for one day this year, and they're 4 games out of a playoff spot right now. And that speaks to how jumbled it is in the middle of the American League. They're 4 games out, but they have to pass 7 teams to make a playoff spot, including the one they're playing tonight, Tampa Bay. The Yankees in the first playoff spot, the Angels in the second playoff spot. But look at this, only 2 of these are getting in.
It's going to be a fun final weeks of the season, trying to figure out who's playing for that wild card that we'll have, of course, on ESPN, and having the American League wild card game this year. It's going to be a fun race.
So we booked travel to 9 different cities right now.
That's right. Got 9 hotels on reserve. Yep.
Didi Gregorius DHing tonight. Chases a fastball up and in, and that's 3 strikeouts among the first 4 batters faced by Rafael Montero.
Well, we're getting a look at 2 guys that haven't really found success yet at the big league level, and it's been about command. But you're seeing from both guys a big fastball and good secondary stuff when they're able to throw it where they want. And Montero and Sessa both off to a pretty good start tonight.
Here's Gary Sanchez, young catcher for the Yankees. 269, 19 home runs on the year. Great stop at third. Flores back to his feet, but safe at first. Sanchez.
Well, at first, I didn't think he was going to be able to get to this ball, but it's a great job by Flores of laying out, completely laid out, and makes this play. I don't think he gets a great grip on the ball, and he's not able to get as much as he probably could have on the throw. The ball sails on him a little bit, and Dom Smith over there across the diamond tries to have some footwork and move across the bag, but that ball just sails too much, and Sanchez able to leg it out.
Infield hit for Sanchez, and a runner at first, 1 out for Chase Headley, the first baseman. He's hitting .272 on the season since the acquisition of Todd Frazier, which moved Headley across the infield to first. For whatever reason, Headley's taken off with the bat. He's hitting .338 since the change. Can be a very streaky hitter at times, switch hitter. Greg Bird getting closer, the guy who was to have been the first baseman for the Yankees this year. Number of injuries, currently trying to come back from an ankle injury, expected to go out on rehab this week. Same with Starlin Castro, their second baseman.
Well, sorry, Dan, that's what's crazy about this offense is you think that they're missing, Greg Bird, who they haven't had all season. Starlin Castro, as you mentioned, is going to come back. Matt Holliday, if he can come back and be healthy, and I don't believe he was before he went on the DL. That's some added thump to a lineup that I think needs it right now.
All 3 were out taking early batting practice today, running the bases. I talked to all 3 of them, and they all expect to be out on rehab assignments this week. And, what a shot in an arm to a Yankee offense that hasn't been quite as dominant of late if they get those 3 guys back plugged into this dangerous lineup.
Yankees in an interesting stretch right now. 4 games with the Mets this week, 2 here, then 2 at Citi Field, and then, having just played the Red Sox, they go to Fenway Park next weekend for 3 more with Boston, and they play the Red Sox again just 2 weeks after that on Labor Day weekend. 3 games here, then they're done with the Boston for the season. 4 games here, excuse me, then they're done with the Boston for the season. A tailor-made double play ball will end the inning. We're through 2. Both starters looking good. No score early.
The terrorist called Unabomber is planning to blow up an airliner sometime during the next 6 days.
Ted Kaczynski's got an IQ of 168. An operation of this scale is unprecedented.
He's been outsmarting us the whole time.
Manhunt Unabomber, Tuesdays at 10 on Discovery, and catch up on the Discovery Go app.
If you or a loved one were exposed to Roundup weed killer and were later diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, call right now. You may be entitled to financial compensation. Glyphosate, the primary ingredient in Roundup weed killer, was recently designated a probable human carcinogen by the World Health Organization. Call right now.
Call 800-499-9812. That's 800-499-9812.
I sold my dream house to buy my first Domino's store.
I built my store with my bare hands.
I used my college savings to buy my store. It means everything to me.
But we've decided to tear them down.
We love what we do, but not where we do it. Come and see our remodeled stores when you carry out large 3-topping pizzas for $7.99 each every day.
Apparently, the picture is worth 1,000 words. The award-winning 4K displays from Vizio.
Canelo, be bold! Come on, Canelo, be bold!
Be bold, there is light.
Tecate Light, born bold.
You're watching Monday Night Baseball on ESPN, presented by USAA. Coming up later this week here on ESPN, the Yankees and the Mets again, this time from Citi Field. That's the Wednesday night game this weekend. On Sunday night, we'll have the Cardinals and the Pirates. The Little League Classic from Williamsport, Pennsylvania, going on in the same place at the same time as the Little League World Series, and anticipating all kinds of interaction between the big leaguers and the little leaguers. Big leaguers at some of the Little League games. Little leaguers, of course, at the Major League game Sunday night.
Dan Schulman sliding down the famous grass hill that's out in the outfield. I'm going to go put that out there.
Wearing some red, I'm guessing, maybe while I'm there.
It's going to be a lot of fun. I was talking to Matt Holliday today before the game about it, and he knew that was coming up. And I think he was a little jealous that he wasn't going to be a part of it. He's like, this sounds so cool.
1 year removed from being he's with the Cardinals like he was last year. He'd be there.
Another strikeout for Sessa as he gets Juan Lagares, and both of you guys will be big parts of our coverage at the Little League World Series. 8 U.S. teams, 8 international teams. U.S. champion, international champion eventually settle it. Of course, we talked about it last night. Todd Frazier, currently third baseman for the Yankees. He was the star for the Toms River, New Jersey team that won the Little League World Series in 1998. Hit a home run in the first inning of the ball game, and then as the pitcher got the last out to win it. That's a foul ball off the foot of Granderson. And by the way, the Cardinals and Pirates, they're both in the hunt in the National League Central, especially St. Louis playing much better ball in the second half, and they enter action tonight just 1 game back of the Cubs. The Brewers are 2 back, and the Pirates are 4 back. Not all of those teams are in action tonight. The Cubs are home to Cincinnati. St. Louis will open up a series in Boston tomorrow. And Pittsburgh will spend their time this week at Milwaukee beginning tomorrow before taking on the Cardinals. And just the Sunday game is in Williamsport. Friday, Saturday are in Pittsburgh. And speaking of Little Leaguers, Curtis Granderson. His favorite moment, giving his first home run ball to his mom in Little League.
Still got that big grin.
Yeah, he does.
He probably still loves the game as much now as he did back then. Sanchez looking for it, but it's well back into the seats. A full count. Between the American League wild card race and the National League Central, we say this every year, but there could be all kinds of craziness going down the stretch, because with Colorado and Arizona having good years, as Granderson hits one a mile down the right field line and long gone. His 18th of the season, and the Mets have a 1-0 lead.
An almost identical pitch that he struck out on in the first inning. Sessa went to that slider down and in and froze Granderson. He took it for called strike 3. He tries to go back there again. It's at the bottom of the zone, but he doesn't bury it to that inside corner. Stays down on the plate, and Granderson, an outstanding low ball hitter, just drops the head on it and rides it deep into the seats and right.
Now Cabrera lifts a fly ball to left field. Going back to get it is Gardner. 2 down. Number 18 this season, and has an excellent chance to get 20 for the 10th time in his career. He was a Yankee from 2010 through 13 and a Met since 2014, a free agent at the end of the season. Where will he be next year? 2 down for Yoenis Cespedes. Cespedes a strikeout back in the first. Sessa has 4 strikeouts through 2 2/3, and a good slider there to even it up at a ball and a strike. The Yankees will send Sonny Gray to the mound tomorrow night. One of their pickups just popped prior to the trade deadline, Jacob deGrom for the Mets. Now here's a drive to deep right center field. Outfielders back. Judge jumps, can't make the catch, and it's gone for a home run for Cespedes.
Well, after striking Cespedes out with the slider his first at bat, they get a swing and miss on the pitch within this at bat, and then they try to elevate a fastball up and in to get on the hands of Cespedes, but watch it miss. You see where Sanchez is set up, and then way back across over the plate into the hot zone of Cespedes. He does a nice job of going opposite field, and Judge just missing it. Now seeing on the replay just how close he was. He had a chance. He gets up, times it right, just a little bit off. Would have been a fantastic grab, but showing a little of the athleticism, not just the power of Aaron Judge, but Cespedes doing a nice job that fastball away.
Sessa just spraying that fastball all over the place. You saw Gary Sanchez after that last pitch right there that missed bad again with the fastball, just kind of trying to slow him down. That fastball, as you said, Jess, trying to get it in. He's missing across the plate by feet right now with that fastball.
And Larry Rothschild going to head out to the mound and try to slow things down for Sessa right now.
Judge, with all he's got to factor in, the tip of his glove, knowing where he's at on the wall, timing it right, just not able to get there.
So 2 home runs in the inning, 18th on the season for Granderson, 15th on the season for Cespedes. And the Mets lead 2-0. Mets come into the game tonight having won 4 of their last 5. 53 and 62 on the season. Right over the outside edge for a strike, 2-1. Of course, Washington way out in front of the National League East. In spite of all their injuries, they're still 14 games up on the Miami Marlins. Over the mound. Tricky play. Got it. Conforto retired, and that'll end the inning, but it's a good one for the Mets. They go deep. They do it twice. Curtis Granderson, number 18, down the right field line. Yoenis Cespedes, number 15. Mets lead 2-0.
What are all these different topped and loaded meals?
It's an American favorite on top of an American favorite, Alice. It's like rodeos on top of roller coasters.
Get your favorites on top of your favorites. Only at Applebee's.
Hi, I'm Paul. People ask why I switched to Sprint. Well, their network reliability is within 1% of the big guys, and they have the best price for unlimited among national carriers. And wait, are you watching this on the awesome iPhone 7? You gotta get iPhone 7 from Sprint, and they'll give you a second one on them. What are you doing? Go switch to Sprint.
Who's he talking to?
I don't know, but I'd better go to Sprint.
Wait.
2 iPhone 7s! Love you!
Get Sprint Unlimited. And now, get iPhone 7 and get a second iPhone 7 on us.
Infinity, empower the drive.
Think a burger place can't cook up the juiciest chicken sandwich you've ever tasted? Well, think again. The Barbecue, Club, and the New Hawaiian. The charbroiled chicken sandwiches with no antibiotics ever. At Carl's Jr. and Hardee's.
Where else is giving up oneself more valued than a paycheck? The biggest cheerleaders have no pom-poms, and a community can make a lifelong memory. Where else but Williamsport? The Little League World Series on the networks of ESPN.
Monday Night Baseball on ESPN, presented by USAA, is brought to you by Tecate and Tecate Light. Born bold. Casey Stengel, Yogi Berra, Joe Torre. 3 of the men who wore the uniform for both franchises. 2-0 Mets going to the bottom of the 3rd. Todd Frazier leads it off against Rafael Montero, who's been outstanding through 2. 1 hit, an infield hit. He has struck out 3, had a double play ball behind him. First at bat of the night for Frazier, acquired from the White Sox at the deadline. Overall numbers: 211, 19 homers, 227, 3 homers in 23 games with the Yankees. The Yankees picking up 5 players around the deadline. Frazier, 2 relievers from the White Sox, David Robertson, Tommy Kahnle, and 2 starting pitchers, Sonny Gray and Jaime Garcia. It's a pretty significant haul. But because of some other factors, injuries and other players not playing as well in the last couple of weeks, the Yankees have really been unable to make a move, take advantage of it. And in fact, they're now 5.5 back of the Red Sox for top spot in the East. Big swing and a miss, full count. Got him with a slider. Froze him for strikeout number 4. Let's go back to the studio.
Dan, Rays have struggled post All-Star break. Still 2 back in the wild card chase. Wilson Ramos, a solo home run here, Pedro.
Yeah, struggle is probably an understatement. They've lost 7 of their last 9 to really fall a little bit back in that wild card race.
Got an update for you on the Giants and the Marlins. Denard Span tying this one up with a 2-run ground rule double on the same night, guys, that Giancarlo Stanton belted his 43rd home run.
And his 10th in his last 11 games. We mentioned he's now hit a home run in 5 consecutive games. The Major League record for most consecutive games with a home run is 8. And it is held by, let's see, 3 players, I think.
Don Mattingly.
Don Mattingly, Dale Long, and I think Ken Griffey Jr.
Yep.
I believe those 3 guys all hit home runs in 8 consecutive games. Here's Ronald Torreyes, the second baseman, with Starlin Castro still on the DL with a hamstring issue. Torreyes hitting a solid .285 this season.
Torreyes been one of those real unsung heroes for the Yankees this season. Remember when Didi Gregorius started the year on the disabled list and the Yankees got off to a good start? He was the shortstop, delivering some big hits, playing solid defense, now playing a lot of second. The ability to play all over the field and really swing the bat, especially against lefties. He's really handled left-handed pitching at a high level this year, well over 300. Righties 273 with all 3 of his home runs coming against righties.
Well, we saw last night a sellout of better than 46,000. A pretty good vibe, pretty good buzz in the ballpark. It's a little bit of a quieter crowd tonight with the Mets here instead of the Red Sox, but it is still a big crowd. Looks like it is well in excess of 40,000. A lot of times here you see a lot of empty seats, even though the tickets have been sold. But fans of the Yankees are obviously quite enthused about the 4 months that they've had and the fact that they are in a playoff race, with the Yankees having played only 1 playoff game in the last 4 years. That was the wild card game, a game they lost to the Astros 2 years ago. And they got to be excited about the future as well, as some of the contracts continue to come off the books. All the trades they made last year, the additions they made to their farm system. Torreyes pops it up, and Rivera's there for the second out. Thursday, the Little League World Series gets underway from Williamsport, Pennsylvania, with an opening round quadruple header. It starts at 1 Eastern with Venezuela and Panama. Then it's the kids from Jackson, New Jersey, taking on Fairfield, Connecticut. Then Canada, Italy. And at 7 o'clock Eastern time on ESPN2, Lufkin, Texas will take on Grosse Pointe, Michigan. All 4 games streaming live on the ESPN app. And again, Aaron and Jess will both be a big part of our coverage from Williamsport.
How about so many current Major League players from Venezuela helping pay for that Venezuelan Little League team to be able to come over, helping paying their per diem, their meal money. As many are aware of everything that's happening over there, but a great show of support from current players for their home country in Venezuela right now.
And one thing we always see during the Major League season when we walk into a clubhouse during the Little League World Series, if Venezuela's playing in Williamsport and there are Venezuelan players on that Major League team, they're watching that game in the clubhouse. If somebody's from Texas and there's a Texas team playing at that moment, they're watching that game in the clubhouse. The Major Leaguers take a great interest in the Little Leaguers from wherever they happen to be from.
I mean, I remember it so well in my playing days, you know. Get to the ballpark before batting practice and stuff. Those Little League games are on, and you have a huge rooting interest in them, and the storylines that unfold. And I think what's really impressive is the quality of play from those 11, 12, and kids turning 13 years old is truly impressive.
Tyler Wade with a bouncing ball to first. Smith will win the race, and that'll end the inning. We're through 3 with the Mets leading 2-0.
My experience with USAA has been excellent. They always refer to me as Master Sergeant. They really appreciate the military family, and it really shows.
We've got auto insurance, homeowners insurance.
I had an accident with the vehicle. I actually called USAA before we called the police. USAA was very hands-on, very quick, very prompt. I feel like we're being handled as people that actually have a genuine need. We're the Weber family, and we're USAA members for life.
USAA. Get your insurance quote today.
One day, Simba, the sun will set on my time here and will rise with you.
Disney's The Lion King. Bring it home on digital tomorrow.
Schick Hydro versus a lube strip with 7 hydrating gel pools that give you 40% less friction. It's designed like no other razor to protect from irritation. Schick Hydro for your skin.
I sold my dream house to buy my first Domino's store. I built my store with my bare hands.
I use my college savings to buy my store. It means everything to me.
But we've decided to tear them down.
We love what we do, but not where we do it. Come and see our remodeled stores when you carry out large 3-topping pizzas for $7.99 each every day.
Yeah, you could say I like baseball.
I'm always repping my team.
I know I'm doing my part.
My crew's all about the AL.
Word.
We're all about the NO. Am I obsessed?
Nah, I'm just a baseball fan.
You think you're a bigger fan than me? Prove it.
Prove it.
Prove it. Find all the gear you need at MLBshop.com.
Well, if you were wondering how we spent our day today, and play along and pretend you were, we went to Major League Baseball's the Replay Center, the command center here in New York City, where the umpires look at the replay calls and decide whether they should be confirmed, they stand, or they're overturned. And they put us in the seats. Each of us was asked to be an umpire for a moment and go through a call that was actually reviewed in a major league game. We were timed, we were critiqued, we learned about the process and
what you say, how you do it.
Yeah, and I found it really interesting. I mean, we learned a lot today. We had fun. It was a nice interactive thing for us to take part in.
And knowing when you're on the clock. I mean, that's the thing too. And of course, the three of us are so competitive. As soon as they start the clock, it's like your brain is like, you want to get the call right, but you're also very aware that there's headsets sitting there waiting on the other end. It's not easy.
It was a really neat experience, and I got to thank Jess for setting it up. We were giving her a hard time for messing with our sleep a little bit, but she was proactive in getting this set up, and I think a learning experience for all three of us.
Absolutely. So it's a room that has as many as 6 umpires in it at a time. As Flores hits a ground ball down to third, depending on how many games are going on, and each umpire works with I guess I'm going to say all kinds of TV things wrong here, but I guess a video operator who works with them and assists them, and we understood the process, who talks to who. They have an umpiring supervisor who, generally speaking, is a retired umpire, and he's kind of in charge of the room. And it was great. We learned a lot of things. I think we have a much better understanding of the process. They also told us today, if I'm remembering the numbers right, that the average time for a replay this year, baseball says, is less than it's ever been since they started replay. The time is coming down. I think it was about a minute 28, a minute 29 on average for replay this year. And that's obviously a concern to people. But again, when they put you in the chair and they put you on a headset, as they did with us today, and they say, okay, what do you think about this call? In that moment, all you're thinking about is get it right.
Yeah. And can I see it again? And the views, all the different access that they now have. And that's what's cool about the different broadcasts, all the different camera angles, and really like the slow-mo, the high definition. I mean, there's some calls you want every angle because you need to get it right. But it's all on a clock. And,
and they're very mindful.
Puts pressure on these guys.
We look at our great cameraman.
They speak about Steve Lowe and Ish in reverential terms at the Rock, at the command center. They will use their camera angles if at all possible.
But I
made that part of it.
A lot of the we get frustrated sometimes with we think it takes so long, and we've all been frustrated with that. They're very cognizant of that as well, and I think they are always working to improve the system, to improve the efficiency of which they do it. And
That's a fair ball, and Dom Smith retired.
And after seeing it today, they do it real well. I think one big takeaway I had was, if you ever are at home and you hear the call was overturned, take it to the bank.
Right. They got something.
They got it.
They got something.
And they got it right.
Yes.
And maybe at home you didn't see something that they maybe had, but they know for certain. Overturned, they got it right.
I've been there.
Yeah.
We've been there on a broadcast where they've had better angles than even we've had. And so they've seen it. But for them to overturn it, they're not going to do it. If they're 90%, they're going to make sure that they're 100%.
And it's part of the umpire rotation right now. Your crew of 4, you take a turn at the replay center. That's part of the rotation. There are actually 2 crews, 8 umpires who in any given week are on call. They're part of the replay center, not later in at the same time. A couple may work the day games, and then a few come in for the 7 o'clock games, and then a couple come in for the 10 o'clock games.
But that's what's so cool is they all are a part of it. So if you're on the field, you know what's going on the other end. And what I loved is the fact that now they're so much more confident.
A strikeout for Sessa to get Rosario. 5th strikeout of the night for Sessa as he makes quick work of the Mets here in the top of the 4th.
Important message for people with IVC filters. The FDA warns that pieces of the filter can break off in your vein, causing serious injury or death. Call the Guardian Legal Network to speak with an experienced lawyer. If you don't win, you pay nothing.
If you or a loved one were exposed to Roundup weed killer and were later diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, call right now. You may be entitled to financial compensation. Glyphosate, the primary ingredient in Roundup weed killer, was recently designated a probable human carcinogen by the World Health Organization. Call right now.
Call 800-499-9812. That's 800-499-9812.
Attention all users of the dangerous blood thinners Xarelto or Pradaxa. If you or someone you love are one of the thousands of blood thinner users that may have been exposed to the serious risks caused by these medications, including internal bleeding, you need to call Guardian Legal Network now. There are time deadlines to file your claim, so don't wait. If we don't win, you pay nothing, so call to speak to your experienced attorney now.
Call 800-593-5396.
Summon Terragorn the Brave.
He's at the podiatrist.
Going into battle without the best team? Bad fantasy. Drafting your team from anywhere? Good fantasy. Sign up now at ESPN.com/goodfantasy.
Apparently, the picture is worth 1,000 words. The award-winning 4K displays from Vizio.
Fantasy Football Marathon is underway on ESPN2. Matthew Berry and Adam Schefter are on air for every second. This is 28 hours of coverage as they bring you the most comprehensive fantasy insight to prepare you for your upcoming season. Coverage will also be on ESPN and the ESPN app. And our own fantasy football expert, Mr. Boone, has some sleepers for us.
Well, Todd Gurley, maybe not so much of a sleeper, but I highly recommend you pick him up if you can in the 2nd round. Number of other running backs I recommend: Amir Abdullah of the Lions, Kareem Hunt, Marlon Mack, all 3 guys that I think are going to have some strong seasons. And if you're looking for a number 2 quarterback this year, Deshaun Watson, look for him to take off this year as a Texan.
Our expert advice brought to you by Ace Hardware.
We need to check back in to see how his expert advice weighs in about, what, December? Is that a good time to?
Yeah, I think that's fair.
About the time your SC Trojans, or what would their record be?
Strong to quite strong.
Bottom 4 here in the Bronx in a 2-0 lead for the Mets. A couple of home runs, Curtis Granderson and Yoenis Cespedes, and Rafael Montero, who's had a rough season, ERA over 6 coming in. He's been great so far tonight. 3 innings, an infield hit, 4 strikeouts. And Gardner didn't like that call. He was going to bunt it, pulled the bat back, thought it was outside, and then took it for a strike.
K-zone, had it just down and away. And, you know, Brett Gardner knows that strike zone just about as well as anyone. He didn't really argue, but felt like maybe it was down and away, and a pretty well located pitch by Montero to get back into the count.
Liner to left and caught by Cespedes with his trademark underhand flip back into the infield. 1 down as we send it back to the studio.
Dan, Red Sox with a 5.5 game lead on the Yankees in the AL East tonight, though. No answer for Edwin Encarnacion.
Boy, I know a bunch of Red Sox fans who would love to have those 26 homers be for the Red Sox rather than the Indians.
Pair of 2-run shots, guys. Cleveland up by 4.
Well, the Indians, the defending American League champions and currently the leaders in the American League Central. Of course, they picked up a player from the Mets in Jay Bruce, one of a number of players the Mets have traded away in recent weeks. The Indians suffering some injuries in the outfield. They went out and got the left-hand hitting Jay Bruce. Hoping to get Andrew Miller back soon. Still have the look of an extremely dangerous team, especially if Corey Kluber is pitching the way that Corey Kluber is pitching right now.
Easily one of the top 3 pitchers in the game right now. Kluber, his last start, he just keeps getting better and better. And he struggled early. And there was a lot of that conversation about coming off the World Series, fatigue. Same thing the Cubs similarly seem to be going through, but they are hot.
Well, and had a stint on the disabled list that, you know, may turn out to be somewhat of a blessing. A guy that's racked up a ton of innings over the last several seasons. Of course, pitching a lot on 3 days rest in the postseason, so those innings really climbing up, but looking like he's finding his stride in the rest of that Indians rotation.
Broken bat, soft liner into center field. That's a base hit for Aaron Hicks.
Well, let's take a look how they attacked Aaron Judge in his first at bat, one that ended in a strikeout. He started him out with a 2-seam fastball, and then the check swing by Judge there on a slider down and out of the zone. He worked himself back into the count, laid off that slider that they got him to chase earlier, and then just the tip of the cap, a perfect pitch by Montero on the corner and at the bottom of the zone at 95, able to finish off Aaron Judge.
So you saw the note maybe at the bottom of the screen. Now 31 consecutive games in which Judge has struck out at least once. That is one shy of the major league record. Adam Dunn, former teammate of yours, Aaron, a guy with a ton of power just like Judge, once struck out in 32 consecutive games. Of course, strikeouts not frowned upon to the extent that they used to be, especially if you could supply the power.
See right there, see how late he is getting his foot down? He's just late getting started and then late getting into position. So as a result, you don't read the ball as well. Watch here, he's just a little bit late getting into that position, so you don't read the ball as well as you should. When you're on time, you see that slider breaking out of the zone and you just kind of spit on it easily. A little bit better right there, and I think it's just a matter of time before he finds that good timing again, and then all of a sudden you'll start to see him getting into better counts, swinging at better pitches, and that awesome power taking over.
Does he have the green light here, 3-0?
Sure.
Takes it for ball 4. 2 men on for the Yankees. And now Montero in his first jam of the night will face Didi Gregorius with runners at first and second and just one out. He struck Gregorius out back in the second. Best batting average Gregorius has ever had in a full major league season is .276. He's at .308 right now. And an 8-game hitting streak snapped last night against the Red Sox. Inside of the knees.
And this is a great time to watch how Montero reacts. He's been pitching so well tonight. You see Rene Rivera is going to go out and just try and settle him down a little bit. This is oftentimes where you see a young pitcher, especially a pitcher that has really good stuff like Montero does. They get into a jam and they start trying to throw harder or trying to throw a more nasty pitch instead of almost backing off in this situation and really concentrating on just commanding the strike zone with your pitches. The stuff is plenty, but don't start overthrowing now. That's when you get behind in the count, and when you overthrow, that's when you tend to make a mistake in the heart of the plate. And a good job there of going change up there down in the zone. Rivera probably saying, all right, I see him starting to overthrow a little bit. Let's go to an off-speed pitch, see if we can slow him down a little bit. Still 90 miles an hour as we look at Dan Wortham, the hitting coach over there next to Terry Collins. Oh, yeah.
With that fastball. But he has to, as you said, Booney, be able to command that pitch.
Doesn't feel for that changeup. I think if he can throw that with down the way. This time he goes after it, and now with 2 strikes, Sanchez certainly has the respect of that pitch and now in his mind, but it also potentially opens up the outside part of the plate, especially if he wants to try and get a chase with the off speed out there. He's established in.
The 1-2. Down low. Pitch count climbing for Montero. Nobody throwing in the Mets pen. A couple of guys got up and started doing some stretching and limbering up a little bit just in case the phone should ring. Fouled off.
Well, after all two. Because of the respect and the establishment. He did, but Sanchez able to spoil.
Is located away. Gary Sanchez having a great at bat.
He is.
Because we've seen him adjust to that changeup, first of all, that he barely was able to foul off way out in front of. Now I don't think they go back to it.
And even though they obviously agreed on a pitch when they were talking face to face on the mound, Montero backs off the rubber. And Rivera will flash some signs. Another 3-2 pitch on the way to Sanchez. Golf to left field, not that deep. Cespedes will make the catch. Here comes the runner. Throw, not in time. Hicks will score. The other runners will advance. And the Yankees are on the board, now trailing 2-1.
Not only a great at bat from Gary Sanchez to be able to work that count, work the count. He doesn't even get very much of it, but this is ball 4. This pitch is a changeup about to touch the ground, and this is supposed to be a chase pitch. But watch him just go down and get it. I mean, this is a golf swing, and the ability, his mindset was to get something in the air, and he does it with a pitch that's about 1.5 inches off the ground to get the Yankees on the board.
If you're a Montero right now, and you've got Gary Sanchez up there having a good at bat against you, you will absolutely take that right there. A big second out, first base now open, a chance, if you can retire Headley, to get out of this inning and limit the damage that he's had so much trouble doing when he's gotten into trouble so far this season.
And now for the first time tonight, activity in one of the bullpens. Right-hander Hansel Robles is starting to throw for the Mets. This has been a long and tough half inning for Rafael Montero, and no doubt for Terry Collins. 2 walks, a sac fly have scored a run. Second and third, 2 down for Chase Headley, who grounded into a double play his first time up. Lifts a fly ball to right field. Conforto started back, comes in to make the catch, and that'll end the inning as they do minimize the damage, I guess, to a certain extent. Only 1 run scoring. Hicks coming in, Headley directing traffic, and the Yankees have their first run.
Hey Siri, remind me to dominate relentlessly today.
Okay, I'll remind you.
Already on it.
Touching hands, reaching out, touching me, touching you. Sweet Caroline, good times never seem so good. So good! So good!
Make your commute a little sweeter in the newly redesigned Hyundai Sonata, our best Sonata ever. This is what I feel like when I wear regular shoes. Cramped and uncomfortable.
Mr. Long, you've been upgraded.
Which is why I wear Skechers wide fit shoes. It's like first class for your feet. Try Skechers wide fit with air-cooled memory foam.
At Ally, we offer low rates on home loans. But if that's not enough, we offer our price match guarantee, too. And if that's not enough,
We should move.
our home team will help you every step of the way. Still not enough?
Smaller than I'd like.
We'll help you finance your dream home.
It's perfect.
Oh, was this built on an ancient burial ground?
Okay, then we'll have her cleanse your house of evil spirits. We'll do anything, seriously anything, to help you get your home. Ally, do it right.
This is a story about mail and packages. And it's also a story about people. People who rely on us every day to deliver their dreams. They're handing us more than mail. They're handing us their business. And while we make more e-commerce deliveries to homes than anyone else in the country, we never forget that your business is our business. The United States Postal Service. Priority, you.
ESPN Films presents What Carter Lost, August 24th on ESPN.
Play Ball is MLB's initiative to inspire all forms of baseball and softball participation, making play opportunities available and fun for everyone. To learn more, go to playball.org. Whoa. That bat went flying and hopefully didn't hit anybody. It sailed well beyond the dugout, and fortunately nobody hit. Rivera needs a new one. 2-1, the Mets lead the Yankees as they bat here in the top of the fifth, opening up what technically is a two-game series. 2 games here, and then they play again for 2 games at Citi Field, but baseball officially marks them as 2 separate 2-game series. They can afford to smile now because nobody got shaken up. Rivera grounded out his first time up. Down to third. 1 down. Let's get an update from John Brickley and Pedro Gomez.
All right, Dan, let's start with the Rangers in the hunt for that final wild card spot facing the Tigers. Justin Upton connecting with the 2-run home run, his 23rd of the season. Rangers 3.5 back of that final wild card spot in the American League. Reds, Cubs, Chicago, 1-game lead in the NL Central, and Anthony Rizzo delivers.
And Cubs have been one of the hottest teams since the All-Star break. I talked to them over the weekend. The consensus is not having many guys go to the All-Star game really helped them. In fact, it was only one, Wade Davis, who was not a Cub last year.
All right, guys, thank you. I think a lot of people have been waiting all season long for the Cubs to take off. And it looked like the Cubs of 2016. Of course, every year is a completely different year. You start from scratch. And now Joe Girardi is going out, and I wonder if there's some sort of a physical concern. It looks like a member of the training staff as well. Is there some sort of a physical concern here with Sessa? Throw a warm-up pitch, says Girardi. This is after the last pitch. Oh, and right there, that's what they saw in the Yankee dugout. A little grimace and dipping that shoulder a little bit, but he's convinced Joe Girardi he's okay. Meanwhile, Chad Green has now started to throw in the bullpen. With all the depth and big names they have, Green's been a pretty important guy in middle relief for this Yankee team.
The extra inning game last night. A lot of Yankee relievers in that game, throwing a lot of pitches. They'd love to get Sessa at least through this inning.
Juan Lagares with a base hit up the middle. that'll turn it back around to the top of the order. Curtis Granderson, who hit a home run his last time up.
Yeah, got a slider similar to the pitch that he struck out on. This one stayed in the middle of the plate. It was down, just kind of rolled in there. And Curtis Granderson, as we've seen so many times in his career, just drops the head on that pitch down and rides it out of here.
And now Joe Girardi is out again with a member of the training staff. And the whole infield, home plate umpire are there. And again, they are checking on his physical well-being. And this time, Girardi is going to take the ball. That'll be the end of the night for Sessa. And the beginning of the night for Green. Here in the Bronx.
There's a more vivid window into your games with a stunning 4K display and graphics that bring them to life.
Peter, you still with us?
The Dell Inspiron 15-7000 Gaming. Dell, as real as it gets.
My daughter is studying to be a dentist, and she gave me advice. She said, Dad, go pro with Crest Pro Health.
4 out of 5 dentists confirm these Pro Health products helped maintain a professional clean. Go pro with Crest Pro Health.
Crest Pro Health really brought my mouth to the next level.
Isaac Hu has mastered gravity-defying moves to amaze his audience.
Great show. Here you go.
Now he's added a new routine, making depositing a check seem so effortless. Easy to use Chase technology for whatever you're trying to master.
Isaac, are you ready?
Yeah. Chase, so you can.
The world is full of surprising moments. They're everywhere. And as a Marriott Rewards member, I can embrace them all.
Experience more as a member. The Marriott portfolio has 30 brands in over 110 countries. So no matter where you go, you are here.
You want to know the secret to victory? Fail to make the varsity team.
Start your career as a walk-on.
Take a perfect team and blow a perfect season.
Spend 108 years as a lovable loser.
Be on the wrong side of the biggest upset in your sport.
You really want to know the secret to victory?
Heartbreak for Matt Ryan, who is in utter disbelief.
Defeat.
Make defeat your fuel.
It will be Todd Frazier. Hit deep for Frazier to left field. He's done it again.
Hi, my name is Michael Conforto.
Here left field, way back. Conforto's got himself a dinger. Goodbye, home run.
That experience amplified my love for the game.
The Little League World Series, our coverage begins Thursday, and we'll have the MLB Little League Classic. The Cardinals and Pirates playing one game in Williamsport. There's Todd Frazier, a member of the Toms River, New Jersey championship team for the Little League World Series back in 1998. And Toms River is in the house here in the Bronx tonight. Looking forward to being in Williamsport on the weekend. Out of the Yankee pen comes right-hander Chad Green.
Chad Green, part of a really deep bullpen for the Yankees, and he has had a phenomenal season, working for the 27th time. You see that outstanding ERA and WHIP, and how about the strikeout to walk ratio? 70-12 in 48 innings of work. He does it with a mid-90s fastball, slider. He'll occasionally cut the fastball, but primarily that fastball slider combination.
Granderson struck out in the first, homered in the third, his 18th on the season. Shift on by the Yankees. 3 on the right side. And still thinking about turning 2, not playing too far out on the grass in the outfield, not playing on the grass at all.
Lagares over there doesn't run a lot. Has a couple stolen bases on the year. Green not overly quick to home plate. Sanchez, of course, with that outstanding throwing arm.
Ripped foul. This is one of these interesting situations because Headley, at least at this point, or Frazier rather, at least at this point, he doesn't want to stray too far from third in case maybe Granderson tries to push one. If there's a ground ball to Torreyes, then Wade, the shortstop, has to come from the right side of second base to get to the bag and take the throw to try to turn a double play. Something that obviously infielders are becoming more accustomed to, but it's still not a play they've made very often.
Yeah, that's something that, exactly right. That is something now, though, that more and more middle infielders work on that, because it is a
runner is going. Throw down is a good one, and they got it. What a peg by Sanchez.
Well, Lagares wanting to take advantage of Green being a little bit slow to home plate, but Sanchez makes up for it with an outstanding throw. He didn't make a good throw in his first attempt tonight, where the ball drifted on him and kind of sailed into the base runner Rosario earlier in the game. Pretty good jump there, but you see him get into great throwing position and throw an absolute bullet right on the money to second to cut down Lagares.
And Lagares even trying that quick move we've seen a lot of base runners do, almost bait to tag him with that left arm and then move it quickly. So credit to Wade to be able to lay down the tag on the other arm.
So the base is empty, 2 down, full count offering on the way. Strike 3 called. Granderson thought he had drawn the walk, felt it was outside, but the call goes the Yankees' way. We'll go to the bottom of the 5th. Yankees coming up, down 2-1.
Jason just got dumped, but he's comforting himself with seasoned beef, hearty potatoes, and warm nacho cheese sauce. Bye, Jenny. Taste the comfort with the new $1 beefy potato Rito, only at Taco Bell.
Is it safe here?
It's perfectly safe.
Please hurry. I need help. What's happening?
It's perfectly safe. I assure you.
Alien Covenant on Blu-ray tomorrow.
The world is full of surprising moments.
Oh, yeah.
They're everywhere. And as a Marriott Rewards member, I can embrace them all.
Experience more as a member. The Marriott portfolio has 30 brands in over 110 countries. So no matter where you go, you are here.
Jim Beam and Apple have come together to make history. Now try Jim Beam Apple, poured over ice and served with club soda and a fresh lemon wedge to make a crisp, refreshing Jim Beam Apple and soda.
With this level of engineering, it's a performance machine. With this degree of intelligence, it's a supercomputer. With this grade of protection, it's a fortress. And with this standard of luxury, it's an oasis. The 2017 E-Class. It's everything you need it to be, and more. Lease the E300 for $569 a month at your local Mercedes-Benz dealer. Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing.
What are all these different topped and loaded meals?
It's an American favorite on top of an American favorite, Alice. It's like Abe Lincoln on top of George Washington.
Yonder. Get your favorites on top of your favorites. Only at Applebee's.
The grandest slam in the world, in the greatest city in the world, collide. Only in New York. Don't miss out on the event of the summer, the 2017 U.S. Open. Get your tickets today.
Todd Frazier leads off the bottom of the 5th for the Yankees. And lays off a slider down and away. The appeal, no swing. Frazier called out on strikes his first time up. Rafael Montero has struck out 4 so far tonight. Gave up a run in the 4th. A couple of walks mixed in to that. Actually, the run scoring and a sac fly off the bat of Gary Sanchez. Bottom 3rd of the order: Frazier, Torreyes, and Wade. Montero with 1 win on the season, 1-8 with a 6.06 ERA coming into this start tonight. And that 1 win came on June the 25th at San Francisco when he went 5 2/3 and gave up 1 run.
Montero kind of represents a lot of pitchers that, up and down from the minors, a starter, go to the bullpen, not being able to kind of get that consistency of knowing what you are, what you're going to be, and just kind of the mental toughness and fortitude that you have to show to be able to go up and down and not having that set spot in the rotation every 5 days, every 6 days.
Frazier looks upset with himself as if he had a pitch he thought he should have been able to handle there.
Yeah, you can tell he was selling out on the fastball and has a pretty good rip at it, but Montero still with good life on that fastball. Just a click behind that, fouls it straight back.
3-2. And not a good pass at that one, as Frazier strikes out for the second time tonight. Tonight at 11 o'clock Eastern Time on ESPN. Be sure to tune in to Sports Center at Night with Neil Everett and Nicole Briscoe. They'll have all the best for the major leagues, NFL news, and everything else you need to know. Sports Center at Night also streaming live on the ESPN app. Here's Torres. Popped up in foul territory to the catcher Rivera, his first time up.
Oh, yeah.
The Yankees lead the all-time series with the Mets in regular season play 62-46 since interleague play began back in 1997. Where were you, Aaron? You were a Red in 97?
Yep.
Do you remember your first interleague game? I mean, back in 97 when it started, this was like,
I don't think
shattering stuff in the minds of some.
Yeah, I don't think I didn't play in an interleague game because I got called up for a week in the summer in 97, and then in the month of September, and it was all National League games. So 98 would have been my first interleague. Maybe Cleveland.
Up the middle and through, a base hit for Torres. Where do you guys stand on it? You love it, you like it, get rid of it entirely? Where are you?
I love it. I love it because I like to be able to see teams that match up that you wouldn't otherwise see until the postseason. I actually can't imagine because, when I grew up watching, I remember really honing in on baseball, there was interleague. And so that's all I've ever known. And I can't imagine not. Like the fact that these two teams wouldn't face each other.
Yeah, I like it. And I think overall, everything suggests that even though some people complain about it, I think everything suggests that it's been a really good thing for baseball. And I know for me, when it first started and playing in Cincinnati, it was a big deal in the summertime when we went to Cleveland or when Cleveland came to Cincinnati. And I think there are a lot of those rivalries that do exist, including here, the Subway Series. And, it's certainly a point of pride for the fan bases, especially in a long season.
Yeah. It means more in some markets than others. New York and Chicago, obviously, you have clear rivals. Ooh, Smith slips. This will be interesting. Montero over to cover in time. They get the out on Wade. Torres to second, 2 down.
Well, that's a good job right here. After Smith slips, of just everyone continuing to do their job, continue to play the game, and really no panic here. Montero continues to work hard to get to the bag. Right away off, he realizes he's going to probably have to field it thinking Smith, but once he sees him goes down, he continues to make sure he covers the bag. And Cabrera, a good job of just calmly coming in, getting a big hop, and making a nice, comfortable feed, easy for Montero to handle.
They're lucky he didn't get injured on that. You started to see that leg.
So 2 down in the inning. Back to the top of the order for Brett Gardner, who with an 0 for 2 tonight, now 3 for his last 32. Did hit the ball hard to left field his last time up. But back to the interleague play, some markets have obvious rivalries.
Sure.
Dodgers Angels is one. I think even St. Louis and Kansas City, although they're separated by a couple of 100 miles, that's an obvious one. But if you're Seattle, if you're San Diego, if you're Detroit, there are some teams that just don't have obvious natural rivals.
Well, one of my favorite games that we've done this year was the Yankees playing the Cubs, and I know that obviously turned into a very long game, but when you talk about big cities, but big teams that are interleague go up against each other that you wouldn't otherwise see until the postseason. I love that stuff. Yeah. So not just the city rivalry of interleague, but also just big teams and big cities.
And you're going to have some clunker two teams playing against each other. Two teams out of the race, not very good, with no natural rivalry. But I would argue you have that within your league all the time in a 162-game season.
I think the one thing baseball would love, and this is part of a bigger puzzle, but if they can get to 32 teams.
Correct.
Then you don't have, right now, because there are 15 teams, an odd number of teams in each league, you need an interleague series going on all the time, including opening day and the last day of the season. It's the only way to make the schedule work. If you got to 32, you could really structure the schedule differently, and whether it's all the interleague play happening at the same time or in 2 or 3 different spots of the season.
Make it special.
Yeah, and I don't think anybody wants to have interleague play on the first or last day of the season for a variety of reasons. Safe at first is Gardner on that slow chopper.
Well, Gardner just showing off his speed, and because he's a little bit out in front of this off-speed offering down in the zone, he gets out of the box really quickly and on the run, and he shows out that excellent speed, and Cabrera makes a pretty good play in handling it and getting rid of it quickly. But clearly Gardner beats that throw easily, now giving Aaron Hicks a chance to tie or put the Yankees ahead with 2 outs.
So first and third, 2 down. Hicks has grounded out and Singleton scored the lone Yankee run that came back in the 4th inning. Way inside, ball 1. First of 4 between these two teams this week. The first 2 here, the next 2 at Citi Field Wednesday and Thursday. You can see the Wednesday night game here on ESPN.
Gardner has the go-ahead run over there. 15 stolen bases and 18 tries, so understandably they're going to work hard to keep him close. Rivera throws very well behind home plate. Montero not overly quick, so the stolen base could be in play here.
Not going. And Hicks lifts a fly ball to shallow right center field. Conforto is there. And that'll end the inning as the Yankees leave a couple of men on. 2-1 Mets at the end of 5. Cespedes drew up second for the Mets.
Everything okay?
Yeah, I'm applying for a business loan from my bank.
I like to do my banking face-to-face.
Sure, but online I can do my banking when it's convenient.
I like a local bank where people know me.
I can deposit checks, pay bills, even manage payroll all online. And my bank's local, too.
Who do you bank with?
Person's Banking Company.
That's my bank, too.
Really?
Person's Banking Company. Banking your way. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Important message for people with IVC filters. The FDA warns that pieces of the filter can break off in your vein, causing serious injury or death. Call the Guardian Legal Network to speak with an experienced lawyer. If you don't win, you pay nothing.
Say hi to Carol. Welcome to Georgia Natural Gas. Let me guess, you're moving.
Yeah, actually. I still need to get my gas turned on, but moving is expensive, so I'm looking to save.
Well, how about locking in a low rate? Plus, we'll give you $100 just for signing up.
Now, that's what I've been looking for.
Sure thing. I love this stuff.
Oh, me too. It's the best part of moving.
Right?
I could do this all day.
That's a good one.
Let's double pop.
Call or visit gng.com today and mention promo code EasyMove.
At Bridgestone, our engineers want to help make sure you're not stuck on the side of the road. To prove it, we brought in some professional archers. Our revolutionary drive guard tires are engineered to take a puncture and drive up to 50 miles.
Ready to go.
Watch our latest Archer demo at BridgestoneTire.com.
Ooh, let's go visit the Javelin team.
Now through October 8th, buy 4 eligible Bridgestone tires and you can get a $70 Visa prepaid card by mail. Plus, you can get up to $100 when you use your CFNA credit card account.
If you love queso, you'll love Wendy's new Bacon Queso Burger, Chicken Sandwich, and Fries. Because everything's better with queso. And you're staring.
Sorry.
Feed your queso obsession for a limited time at Wendy's.
Canelo, be bold! Come on, Canelo, be bold!
Be bold, there is light.
Tecate Light, born bold.
Monday Night Baseball on ESPN, presented by USAA, is brought to you by Bridgestone's Clutch Performance Drive Guard Tires. You can take a puncture and keep going for up to 50 miles. And Wendy's 50-cent Frosty for a limited time only. El Duque, Al Leiter, David Cone, among the very talented pitchers who have pitched for both of these franchises. And there's David Cone working the Yankee telecast tonight. Well, you talk about a guy, the phrase is, who could manipulate a baseball, who could make a baseball do different things. David Cone was all of that.
Well, he and El Duque kind of similar in their styles and their deliveries. Not a fun at bat, I'm telling you, especially for a right-handed hitter. I didn't face Coney, but El Duque, when he was rolling, was a tough customer.
You must have faced Al Leiter a fair bunch.
Did not like facing Al Leiter either. I did, yes.
Cut her in, cut her in, cut her in, cut her in.
Cut her in, cut her in. In fact, when people ask me, who didn't you like, who was tough on you, didn't like facing, Al Leiter's one of my go-to answers. Just used to wear me out with that cutter.
Well, if you want to break a bat, he was the guy, right?
Absolutely.
For a right-handed batter, he would break bats with the best of them in on the righties. 2-1 the Mets lead the Yankees, top of the 6th inning. 2-3-4, Cabrera, Cespedes, and Conforto. And Sanchez got dinged up here.
Looks like a little slider here that just on the bounce catches that bare hand. Hopefully not something too serious, but
I mean, that's not one where the catcher has the hand. I don't think it was out in front of him. I think it was behind his leg, right?
Yep.
It's just a freak play.
One of the hazards of playing the position, just catches him on that pointer finger, looks like, right on the knuckle there.
Joe Girardi can relate, being a longtime big league catcher. Sanchez will stay. The Mets with a couple of runs in the third on home runs by Granderson and Cespedes. The Yankees got a run back in the bottom of the fourth. Hard hit ball to right field. Judge reaches up, and it's 6-7. Hauls it in. One down as we check in with the studio.
Dan, Braves and the Rockies underway, and Pedro, a great story surrounding Chad Bettis making his first start of the season since being diagnosed with testicular cancer back in November.
A tremendous lift for the Rockies. Let's not forget, this is a 14-game winner from last year who made 32 starts with this club.
Inciarte
Inciarte
coming up with the
triple
to lead things off as the Braves and Rockies underway, guys.
Tried for that inside the.
All right, guys, thanks. Great to see Chad Bettis back on the mound. Of course, earlier this season, Jameson Taillon also made a recovery from testicular cancer and resumed his career. It was a longer road to recovery for Bettis after surgery in November and making his season debut with the Rockies tonight. Great to see him back out there.
It is awesome to see him back out there, and as the guys touched on, now potentially a really important factor in the National League wild card race.
Which has seemed like a two-team race for most of the season, with Colorado and Arizona being right there with one another. They've got identical records right now. At 65 and 52, the Cardinals, who are a game back of the Cubs in the Central, are 4.5 back in the wild card race. This has tightened up a bit in the last month or 6 weeks. The Rockies and Diamondbacks have come back to the pack just a little bit.
Well, how much that NL Central, you see how tight it is just with the wild card standings between the Brewers, the Cardinals, and the Pirates, but just behind the Cubs. We're barely ahead of the Cardinals right now.
And again, Cardinals and Pirates Sunday night from Williamsport. Cardinals playing much better baseball in the second half, just a game back. Milwaukee actually led the division for a long time before they were caught by a couple of teams. As Cespedes draws a one-out walk. That'll bring up Michael Conforto. He of the 26 home runs on the season.
And him being able to get, not just stay up in the bigs, but get consistent at bats against lefties. Improved on those numbers, which was a huge struggle for him last season. But really just settle in. Become a more confident hitter. Remember when he was first brought up in that World Series run team, he was, like we see with a lot of these young players who come up, get hot, become stars, and then of course the reality hits in, and he struggled last season. Now he's somewhere in the middle, and that's more of the hitter that he is.
But had to really earn it this year.
Yeah.
Wasn't guaranteed anything, wasn't guaranteed a spot on this club. Started out really more of a bench player, the thought was at the start of the season, but some injuries, got opportunities, and then really has become the best player on this team this year, and now is a fixture in the middle of that lineup.
Skies one to left field. And Gardner stays with it to make the catch. 2 down, and we will go back to the studio for another update.
Dan, the NL Central tight as can be. Cubs a 1-game lead over the Cardinals tonight against the Reds. Billy Hamilton tying this one up.
And tying it up, but let's look at the left field throw by Kyle Schwarber at the plate, showing he is an athlete.
Nice play by Schwarber. So they are tied at Wrigley, the Reds and the Cubs. I mentioned Pittsburgh and Milwaukee will play each other this week. That series will start tomorrow, and the Cardinals will play a 2-game series in Boston starting tomorrow. Indians are still up on the Red Sox 7-3, bottom of the 8th. Blue Jays are still up on the Rays 2-1, bottom of the 6th. And if you missed it earlier tonight, Giancarlo Stanton hit his major league leading 43rd home run on the season. Marcell Ozuna has chipped in with a home run as well. Miami leads the Giants 6-3, end of 6 in Miami. It's a pretty quiet 27 home runs and 89 RBIs for Marcell Ozuna this year.
Yeah, he's, especially now with all that Giancarlo Stanton is doing, Ozuna has had a phenomenal year playing center field for the Marlins. What a talented outfield that the Marlins, even though it hasn't been a great season for them, Ozuna, Stanton, Christian Yelich trio, pretty strong.
And new ownership coming, right?
And Derek Jeter and the fellas on their way.
2-0 the count on Wilmer Flores. Swing and a miss at 96, 2-1.
There's a good look at just the life on that fastball, Chad Green. 2-0 count there. You know Flores probably gearing up for that fastball, and Green still able to blow it right by him.
Green doesn't get much attention at all because of the likes of Chapman, Betances, Robertson, Canely picked up, Adam Warren. But Green, a guy who, because some of the Yankee starters have not been able to get very deep into games at times this year, whether it's the 4th inning, 5th inning, 6th inning, he's getting a lot of big outs in the middle of ball games.
Well, I think that's why we saw Joe Girardi come back out, and I'm sure Sessa was still saying, I can throw, I'm fine. And there's no reason, because of the strength of this bullpen, and not just the back end, but the fact that they have guys like Chad Green that can come in the 5th, pitch for a couple innings, and then hand it over to the big guns at the back end.
Runner goes, 3-2, swing and a miss. That's all for Flores and the Mets. They'll leave a runner on. We'll go to the bottom of the 6th. And Aaron Judge due up this half inning with the Yankees down a run.
Oh, yeah.
Infinity, empower the drive.
If the Subway Club were a club, it'd be called the Subway Club Club, and everyone would want to get in for the turkey, black forest ham, and roast beef. And dance music. Turkey, ham, roast beef. Subway, so much sandwich.
At Ally, we offer low rates on home loans. But if that's not enough, we offer our price match guarantee, too. And if that's not enough,
We should move.
our home team will help you every step of the way. Still not enough?
Smaller than I'd like.
We'll help you finance your dream home.
It's perfect. Oh, was this built on an ancient burial ground?
Okay, then we'll have her cleanse your house of evil spirits. We'll do anything, seriously anything, to help you get your home. Ally, do it right.
Yeah. It's 6 a.m. 40 million Americans are waking up to a Gillette shave. And at our factory in Boston, 1,200 workers are starting their day building on over 100 years of heritage, craftsmanship, and innovation. Today, we're bringing you America's #1 shave at lower prices every day, putting money back in the pockets of millions of Americans. As one of those workers, I'm proud to bring you Gillette quality for less, because nobody can beat the men and women of Gillette. Gillette, the best a man can get.
You're watching Monday Night Baseball on ESPN, presented by USAA. Dan Schulman, Aaron Boone, Jessica Mendoza, Yankee Stadium, and the Mets in the opening game of this Subway Series, leading the Yankees 2-1 with Aaron Judge getting set to lead it off here in the bottom of the 6th. He has struck out and walked tonight. Still trying to get it going here in the second half of the year, hitting down to the 160s since the All-Star break. Facing Montero for the 3rd time. After Judge, Gregorius, and Sanchez. In the air to right field. Did he get enough? He did. Number 36 on the season to tie the game.
Montero and the Mets had a clear plan for Aaron Judge coming into this game, really sticking to the lower half away part of the plate. It's a pitch that Judge had struck out on his first at bat. Even though we talked about his struggles with the elevated fastball, the Mets really sticking with the lower half and going outside, and Judge adjusts and makes him pay.
Now a check swing pop-up by Gregorius for the first out.
Another look at that replay. A little fastball. They go to the corner. Excellent plate coverage there. Better job of being on time and getting into that strong hitting position. And after working the walk in his last at-bat, getting ahead in the count in this at-bat, just a good picture of that awesome power, as he really doesn't even hit it all that well by his standards, but still several rows deep out there in right center, and he pretty much knows right away he's got enough of it to drive it out of here.
Tied at 2. Not that bad of a pitch really by Montero. I mean, it's right on the outside corner, maybe 3 inches above the knee. And look, I got a ball. Aaron Judge hit a home run.
I have the ball. Yeah, Aaron Judge.
You're on TV.
But you're right, Booney. Not that it was a miss hit, but you can see sometimes when he doesn't get all of it, but he's so strong. And to be fair, right field here, it's a good spot if you're a hitter.
Sure.
That short porch, and he's taken advantage of that a few times this season.
But if you look at all of Judge's home runs this season, I mean, they're spread throughout the field.
And he's hit some 9 miles, too.
Oh, and we talked about it with Stanton. His 70–80% is better than most guys, and that's Judge. I mean, he only has to really get enough of it. Even if it's a miss hit for him, his strength, and as Booney said, being on time, still has the ability to hit out of the park opposite field.
But what I really love about him, and just watching him, you know, at bat after at bat, game after game, just seeing the way he carries himself, even through this time where he's gone through a rough patch and a bit of the struggles, you just see the even keel he constantly possesses, and it seems like the lack of frustration, and I think that just really bodes well, because in the course of a 162 game season, it becomes such a mental grind that he seems to just be able to maintain a really nice focus and really understand that there's going to be some ups and downs through the course of the season, and you got to just keep grinding away. And I think what he's done really well is concentrate on pitch after pitch and trying to win pitches, and as he gets back on time, the results will follow.
He's got a great guy in his ear too.
Yeah.
Matt Holliday right there next to him, and he's been a guy from the beginning, since Judge in spring training, before he was Aaron Judge. Matt Holliday first getting to this team, he went after Judge and said, I want to take this guy under my wing. I want to be able to just talk to him about the process, about the kind of ups and downs, because remember, Aaron Judge struggled mightily the back end of last season when he first got called up, and Holliday, a lot of credit that Aaron Judge gives to him for helping him just understand more of the mental, not even the physical.
Number 36 on the season for Judge, the all-time rookie record set by Mark McGwire in 1987 with 49 as Sanchez swings and misses. Nobody else, no other rookie ever, has hit 40 home runs in a season. So it looks like at the very least Judge, along with Cody Bellinger, could be on their way to maybe 2 of the 3 most prolific home run hitting seasons by a rookie ever.
Look how simple this swing is. And this is a guy who had a much higher leg kick, was a lot more max effort when he first got called up, and has simplified his swing so that he can try to get out of these funks quicker, because there aren't as many moving parts. And it helps a whole lot. I mean, you got to understand that I'd say half of Major League Baseball, if not more, that's a fly ball to right field. But with his power, he just has to get that front foot down and get the barrel there, and it's a home run.
Chase Headley with a bouncing ball to Smith, Montero to cover, and that's the inning. But Aaron Judge hits his 36th home run of the season, and they're loving it in the Yankee dugout. It's all tied up at 2.
Everything okay?
Yeah, I'm applying for a business loan from my bank.
I like to do my banking face-to-face.
Sure, but online I can do my banking when it's convenient.
I like a local bank where people know me.
I can deposit checks, pay bills, even manage payroll all online. And my bank's local, too.
Who do you bank with?
Person's Banking Company.
That's my bank, too.
Really?
Person's Banking Company. Banking your way. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
You know me. I'm the Addiction Network. Over 1.5 million people have called for help. So why haven't you called? What are you waiting for?
I lost everything, and the only way to get my life back was to pick up the phone and call and go to treatment.
We have a chance to see everybody out of that bullpen tonight.
5-5 in the 4th.
There's a long fly ball. He leaps. He made an unbelievable catch. Did he hang on?
He sure did.
That just might be the play of the year.
MLB wants to see what you've got. We're on the lookout for your best plays, whether it's baseball, softball, stickball, or backyard ball. Share your best stuff using hashtag MLBThePlay for a chance to be featured by MLB.
Any last
words?
Karma, Danny. Karma!
Progress is seizing the moment. Your summer moment awaits you now that the Summer of Audi sales event is here. Audi will cover your first month's lease payment on select models during the Summer of Audi sales event.
For more than 90 years, USAA has been providing insurance, banking, and investments tailored for the military community. USAA, we know what it means to serve. Dan Schulman, Jess Mendoza, Aaron Boone. We go top 7 in the Bronx. Tied at 2 after Aaron Judge homered in the bottom half of the 6th. A solo shot to tie it up. Now, Dominic Smith, the rookie first baseman, leads it off for the Mets and looks at a strike from Chad Green. Smith tonight 0 for 2 and a couple of ground outs, 2 for 12 since coming to the big leagues.
Chad Green now with 27 pitches, done an effective job in the middle of this game. But now some action up behind him in that Yankees bullpen. Looks like Adam Warren down there getting ready to go. Both Robertson and Chapman last night worked more than an inning of work.
Gianfranco in the house.
Great Met. Cincinnati Red. Outstanding closer. And New Yorker.
Two. And he got him swinging. 1 down as we go back to the studio for an update.
Dan, time now for Falcon Tires. Grip the moment. Rangers and the Tigers. Pedro, Delano, DeShields going small ball.
Very small, but the Rangers not going small even without Yu Darvish. Still only 3.5 out of that wild card race.
Rangers with a 3-2 lead. Dan, back to you in the Bronx.
Well, are they a factor right now in the American League wild card race? They're hanging around 3.5 back of the Angels for the second wild card spot. And of course, Texas will play the Angels a bunch of times. Seattle's in there, Kansas City, Minnesota, Baltimore, you name it. We talked about Toronto. They're winning tonight. They open up just 4 back. How about the Angels, though? Quietly having won 6 in a row, survived a long stint without Mike Trout, and they find themselves at the moment in a playoff spot.
And Mike Trout perhaps getting himself back into that MVP conversation, leading the Angels right now into that wild card contention. And the Angels have done it with really an outstanding bullpen. The defense, which has been, which was a point of emphasis for them in the offseason, it's become a very good defensive club. And right now,
a lot of speed too, athleticism.
If the season were to end, they would be in.
Mike Trout coming in New York is what it would be. The Yankees and Angels for that wild card game.
Most teams about 40, 42, somewhere in that range. Games to go. And it could be all kinds of fun chaos down the stretch. Rosario takes outside and the count runs full. Rosario tonight a base hit and a strikeout. And as we mentioned, still has not drawn a walk as a big leaguer. He's had 41 at bats at the moment. 11 for 41, a .268 average, 12 strikeouts, 4 extra base hits, but has not taken a base on balls.
And right here, you could probably get him if you threw a slider that you start off the plate away.
Blew a fastball by him at 96, 2 down.
Well, Green now at 38 pitches continues to throw fastballs by these Met hitters. He's had a lot of deep counts, but that fastball, whether he's been ahead or behind in the count, continues to play up, and he just challenges Rosario at the top of the strike zone. That's in the strike zone, but blows him away for the second out of this inning.
3 consecutive strikeouts for Green going back to the 6th, and here's Rene Rivera. 0 for 2 and a couple of ground outs tonight for the Mets catcher.
Wow. In 4 strikeouts with 7 hitters that Green has faced. And, it used to be you get the starter out of the game, you're excited, especially that early in the game. Cessa came out in the 5th, but the Yankees bullpen, and we're seeing so many bullpens now line up guy after guy, especially right now, 96 up in the zone.
Well, and if the Yankees do get into the postseason, this is why they would have a good chance if they got in, is because of how deep their bullpen is. So they're not reliant on pitchers going overly deep in the game. And as we touched on a lot last night, with the off days that you have in the postseason, those bullpens become even more important because you're able to use them more frequently, knowing there's built-in rest with the off days.
We've seen the Indians, the Royals, and the Giants in recent years all use that to their advantage with very good bullpens. 2 down and the base is empty. 2-2 the count on Rivera. Throwing even harder. That one was at 97. 43 pitches into his outing. In relief of Luis Cessa, who gave up a couple of runs in 4 1/3, touched up for 2 solo homers by Granderson and Cespedes. 2-2 again, and the breaking ball bounce foul.
Watch him go back to that heater, especially recognizing this could be his last batter. So that's why he's with 2 outs. If he gets out of this right here, bringing the velocity, as you mentioned, Dan, harder than he's thrown the last inning and a half.
Another 2-2 pitch. Popped up. Wade, the shortstop, and that's the inning. Nice job by Green. The Mets are going in order. 7th inning stretch in the Bronx.
Touching hands, reaching out, touching me, touching you. Sweet Caroline. Good times never seem so good. So good. So good.
Make your commute a little sweeter in the newly redesigned Hyundai Sonata, our best Sonata ever.
I realize that $100,000 is not exactly a fortune.
103.
103. Okay. Well, let me ask you guys, how long did it take you two to save that?
Oh, a long time.
Long time.
Then it's a fortune.
Well, I'm sure you talk to people all the time who think $100,000 is just pocket change.
Yeah.
Right now, we're just talking to you.
I told you we had a fortune.
Yes, you did.
Getting closer to your investment goals starts with a conversation. Schedule a complimentary goal planning session today.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'm Jimmy. This is my definition of fresh since 1983.
Oh, yeah.
Rick and Pedro back in the clubhouse, giving you an update on the Tigers and the Rangers. They're 3.5 back, and Joey Gallo's going to hot bat for Texas.
And you know the old saying, if you can hit, they'll find a place for you. He may be a third baseman, but he's a left fielder, a first baseman, and when Beltre needs a night off, then he plays third.
Rangers, one of those teams in the wild card chase. How about Giancarlo Stanton?
Yeah.
First at bat tonight against the Giants, setting the single season franchise home run record with his 43rd.
Breaking the tie he had with Gary Sheffield. 25-year-old franchise, that record held up for 22 seasons.
His next at bat, maybe 44 potentially.
It's going. Look, it's going to hit the arc back there. No.
So stand at 43. His next plate appearance, though, an RBI single, extending the lead for Miami. We talked about Stanton's home run power. Let's not forget Marcell Ozuna as well.
You know, this is a tremendous outfield the Marlins have. Yelich, Stanton, Ozuna, arguably the best in baseball.
Back to you guys in the Bronx.
All right, so a lot going on. Thanks for keeping us updated all night long, guys. 2-2 here as we go to the bottom of the 7th between the Mets and the Yankees in the first of 4 straight games they will play against one another. Well, it's fantasy football time, but it's also fantasy baseball time, and we're part of the ESPN Fantasy Baseball Announcer League.
That's us.
All three, that's us. All three of us are in the East. I'm actually Team Schluman, not Team Schulman. That's a typo there. I'm a Schlu. And right now in the East Division, I'm second. Aaron is third.
I'm in last.
No.
Well,
Buster's buried. You're in sixth. Buster's done.
I know Sut's down there somewhere. I know I'm looking down at some people.
Buster's mathematically eliminated.
Moody and I just went head-to-head last week.
Look at some of the top performers on our teams. Jess is running out of time, though. Top 4 in each division to make the playoffs. Only 3 weeks left in the fantasy regular season. And I may be seeing you in September.
Well, we can hope so.
There are no bullpens. There are no relievers in this league, but we weren't in charge of the rules.
Well, yeah, Bryce Harper, tough blow for me, so hopefully I can make up the difference, but we'll see.
Nobody feels sorry for himself in a fantasy league like that guy right there.
And he'll always preface with excuses just to make sure in case it's a bad week.
Well, Jess was probably losing some sleep last night over me beating her this week in fantasy baseball.
All night, Dan, I was up.
And as a result,
losing sleep over
I don't know what you've been, drinking up here all night long, but we got, we got cups stacked up. What do we got? What? 1, 2, 3, 4 cups of coffee?
Coffee.
I mean, what do we got going on?
You could really burn your hand, so you just stack up the cups.
I'm burning a hole in those cups with my laser eyes right there.
Seriously.
Looks like Wilmer Flores has come in to help explain the situation as the third base umpire is having a chat with the pitcher about maybe a substance of some sort or a sleeve perhaps. Hansel Robles on out of the Mets pen. It was Bill Miller, the crew chief at third, who was explaining something to Robles. Whatever it was, they got it sorted out. Back to the action.
That sleeve, that different color on the sleeve there. You can't have that contrast there. Must have possibly something the Yankees, possibly something Frazier, or possibly something Bill Miller on his own notice. You can see how he kind of cuts those sleeves, kind of leaves for a different color contrast on there. Especially if it has any kind of color to do with the ball. That can be a distraction. And
I'd be so annoyed if I was a pitcher and that's something that was pointed out by especially his other team.
So Robles on here in the 7th. In a tie game as Frazier fouls one back.
Yeah, Robles with a high velocity fastball, mid-upper 90s with that fastball slider. And he'll also mix in a changeup at time, but primarily fastball slider. And really taking over for what was a very strong outing for Rafael Montero.
Shot into right field. That's a base hit for Frazier. And the Yankees have the leadoff man on in the bottom of the 7th. MLB wants to see your best plays this summer, whether they're in the backyard or on the diamond. Show us what you've got on social media with hashtag MLB The Play, and we'll feature some of the best all season long.
Well, that's a really good job by Frazier there. All night's been beaten by the fastball a little bit. There really, after fouling a couple pitches off, goes to school, shortens up that swing, and just laces that thing to right field. And now you may have a situation. We've seen Torres be called on to bunt in these situations. Had a sacrifice bunt in last night's ball game. This could be a situation where Torres does square around to try and move Frazier along here in the 7th. And Robles with a throw over there, perhaps just not only to keep Frazier close, but to see if maybe Torreyes tips his hand at home plate to see if he might show what he's doing.
Squares pulls the bat back and he takes ball one. Well, Joe Girardi play it here with Torreyes at the plate and the go-ahead run at first base.
Robles not the best guy to hit and run with in the world, just because he can struggle with his command at times, but also with his stuff capable of the swing and miss. So not sure if you would go into that situation, but now where Torreyes has the count in his favor, perhaps just the opportunity to just straight swing away. And
takes a strike, 2-1. Thought about that time, and now the signs getting flashed again from Joe Girardi after Joe Espada, the third base coach.
Now this is typically in the past one of those times a good hit and run count, they would say, at 2-1, but again, the matchup probably not right.
Swinging away, high fly ball to left field. Long run, Cespedes camps under it on the track and makes the catch for a very big first out of the inning.
Well, it's a good job by Cespedes here of understanding that as that ball's really high in the air, and once Frazier realized it was definitely going to stay in the ballpark, he retreated to try and tag up. But Cespedes, with a strong throwing arm, does a good job of getting behind this ball and getting that throw with some authority back into second base to shut down any thoughts of that by Todd Frazier at first.
There's Tyler Wade, the shortstop, who is 0 for 2 on the night. Wade is 22 years of age, 4th round pick of the Yankees back in 2013. He hit .313 at AAA this year. He's got some speed, stole 26 bases there, but has struggled offensively in the big leagues. He is just 5 for 54. Gregorius DHing tonight, so Wade gets the start at short.
Just 22 years of age, as you say. Excellent reputation as a defender, able to play a lot of positions, but certainly shortstop. But that speed is one of his calling cards, and usually the ability to put the ball in play.
Fouled off, 1-2. Big crowd here in the Bronx. Mets and Yankees Subway Series. The Yankees 5.5 back of the Red Sox, and just in front of about half of the American League in the wild card race, with other games of interest going on out of town. Joe Girardi told us last night, how can you not notice the out of town scoreboard? How can I not pay attention to what other teams are doing? Pitch is up and away, 2-2, and you can't blame him if he looks up at the big scoreboard where Wade's face is and the line score. Just to the right of that is all of that. You can't help but notice it.
Well, and then, coupled that with obviously everything on TV, everything on our smartphones.
And who's asking him questions?
It's apps. It's all right there.
So easy.
One final, as you saw up on that scoreboard, as you may have seen, the Indians have beaten the Red Sox 7-3. So at the moment, the Yankees are 5 games behind Boston. And again, the Yankees will be in Boston for a 3-game series this coming weekend. Trevor Bauer got the win to go to 11-8. Doug Fister took the loss. Edwin Encarnacion hit 2 home runs for the Indians. He's now got 26 on the season. Rafael Devers hit 2 in a losing effort for the Red Sox. Wade is gone for out number 2.
Trevor Bauer all of a sudden throwing the ball pretty well, stringing together some nice outings for them at the back end of that rotation.
Struck out 11 tonight in 6 2/3. Back to the top of the order for Brett Gardner, 1 for 3, had an infield hit his last time up. Yankees and Mets coming your way again Wednesday night on ESPN, on that night from Citi Field.
Oh, yeah.
Strike one. Good pitching matchup tomorrow night in this series. Sonny Gray for the Yankees and Jacob deGrom for the Mets. Jaime Garcia, Seth Lugo Wednesday. Luis Severino, Steven Matz Thursday.
Jacob deGrom, one of the only pitcher of the initial starters coming out to begin the season that's left. Hasn't been injured. Having a strong season himself, but without Noah Syndergaard, Matt Harvey.
Matt Harvey threw in a rehab game on Saturday, threw an inning. I think scheduled to pitch again this week, trying to climb that pitch count up. It'll probably at least be a few outings for him as he tries to get that pitch count up and hopefully make an impression final weeks of the season.
Gardner gone, inning over. Couple of strikeouts in the inning for Robles. End of 7, tied at 2.
Mike and I are both veterans, both served in the Navy. I do outrank my husband, not just being in the military, but at home.
She thinks she's the boss. She only had me by 1 grade. We bought our first home together in 2010.
His family had used another insurance product, but I was like, I've had USAA for a while. Why don't we call and check the rates?
It was instant savings, and I should have changed a long time ago.
There's no point in looking elsewhere, really. We're the Tennies, and we're USAA members for life.
USAA. Get your insurance quote today.
Cameras.
Introducing the newly redesigned GLA SUV. At a price that'll make you feel like you've gotten away with something. The 2018 GLA. Lease the GLA 250 for $359 a month at your local Mercedes-Benz dealer. Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing.
Yikes, looks like you got hooked by Verizon. Since they started hooking people with unlimited, have you noticed them slowing down at all? Are you feeling the drag?
Now that you mention it.
Sprint's network is built from more spectrum for the future.
Thank you. Works for me.
Don't get hooked by Verizon. Switch to Sprint Unlimited for only $20 per month per line when you add 5 lines. Plus, for a limited time, save 50% instantly on a Samsung Galaxy S8.
Where else is giving up oneself more value than a paycheck? The biggest cheerleaders have no pom-poms, and a community can make a lifelong memory. Where else but Williamsport? The Little League World Series on the networks of ESPN.
Summon Terragorn the Brain.
He's at the podiatrist.
Going into battle without the best team? Bad fantasy. Drafting your team from anywhere? Good fantasy. Sign up now at ESPN.com/goodfantasy.
Welcome back to Yankee Stadium. Time for the game track. Brought to you by Rent-A-Center. Tied at 2 between the Mets and Yankees. The Mets with a couple of runs on solo homers by Curtis Granderson and Yoenis Cespedes in the 3rd. Rafael Montero, who's had a tough season, a very good effort tonight, although he did give up Aaron Judge's home run in the 6th inning. 36th of the season for Judge. Tied at 2. We go top 8, and the new pitcher, right-hander David Robertson.
David Robertson back in pinstripes, and again part of that deep bullpen, on for the 43rd time. Outstanding whip, strikeout to walk ratio phenomenal. Fastball, have that cut action on it, and the curveball right there at 83 miles an hour. We'll occasionally mix in a changeup, but primarily that fastball, curveball, and on for the 2nd night in a row. In last night's ball game, 1 2/3 inning of work, 23 pitches. So bounce back after a pretty good workload for Robertson last night.
Hadn't pitched in 3 days prior to last night. Struck out 3 in that stint a night ago. Juan Lagares will lead it off for the Mets. The center fielder was 1 for 2 on the night. Fouls it back to our right. Some concern at the end of the Yankee pen with some recent performances from Aroldis Chapman, and last night was another one. He gave up the home run to Rafael Devers, and then in his 2nd inning of work walked a batter, hit a batter. The time before that against Boston on Friday, walked the bases loaded, gave up a run. And Chapman just not quite as airtight as he has been through most of his career. He's got 15 saves this year. He's blown 4 saves. ERA of about 3.5. Hits per inning are up. Walks per inning are up.
He got lucky Friday night. Walked the bases loaded and double play by Aaron Hicks.
2-2.
Good job by Lagares there of laying off that pitch. Robertson probably threw the pitch he wanted to. He started that hard breaking ball in the bottom of the zone and broke it down, and Sanchez a nice job in the dirt, but Lagares able to lay off that pitch to run it full.
Three-two. At the knees, strike 3 called. It's now 10 strikeouts for the Yankee pitching staff tonight. Sessa had 5, Green 4, and the first for Robertson. Top of the order now, Curtis Granderson's been an all-or-nothing night for Granderson. Couple of strikeouts and a home run.
Both his strikeouts tonight looking. First one on a slider. Down and in, and his last one a fastball away.
That last one, I think he thought and probably was right in thinking that he had worked ball 4. It looked like it would off the plate away, but the Yankees got the call.
Good breaking ball. And a swing and a miss by Granderson. It's 1-1.
And that gives you a good look at the depth, because a lot of times when you see breaking balls for a strike, but the important part and what Robertson brings is just that late depth on that pitch, even if it starts in the strike zone. Because then from there you can work in, yeah, the fastball down in the zone, but now the breaking ball that you'll see in the dirt.
And there's the breaking ball, just about in the dirt. 2 balls, 2 strikes. So he's planted the seed of the curveball, also threw that one cutter down and in. Bounced it in, and Granderson checks the swing. They appeal to make sure, and it's a full count.
Remember with Lagares in the last at bat, he tried the same thing on the 2-2 pitch. He tried to get the chase with that breaking ball in the dirt. Both Lagares and Granderson able to lay off. He followed up Lagares on the 3-2 pitch with a fastball at the bottom of the strike zone, saying, all right, if your discipline is to lay off a pitch down. Wow.
Sharp breaking ball there to get him. Back-to-back strikeouts for Robertson. MLB.com at Bat is your #1 mobile app for live baseball. Stay connected with a fully customizable experience. Get club branded home screen icons and app features, as well as game day, live game video highlights, radio broadcasts, StatCast, news, and more. Download MLB.com at Bat today. Granderson talking it over with Michael Conforto, giving him an idea of what he just saw from David Robertson.
They're obviously familiar with Robertson, who's been an outstanding back-end reliever for his career, and because of that outstanding curveball, and tonight he's got a really good breaking ball going. The bite and the depth, as Jess talked about, really strong, and that's in a bounce-back outing after a 1 2/3 innings of work last night.
1-1 on Asdrubal Cabrera. So 3 strikeouts in an inning and 2/3 last night for Robertson. He struck out both batters he's faced so far here tonight. And the Yankees looking to make up some ground on the Red Sox, who have lost to the Indians 7-3. If they can pick up a win here tonight. A look at the American League East, and those 3 teams, Tampa Bay, Baltimore, Toronto, all trying to chase down the Yankees and others in the wild card race. Good breaking ball again, well located, 2-2.
And the thing is, you know the breaking ball's coming. I mean, Robertson throws it half the time. The fastball is a factor, obviously, and you know when a pitcher has a good secondary. But in the case of Robertson, I mean, he throws it more than the norm. So you can expect it, and I think these hitters expect it, yet they still miss it. And I think that tells a lot about how much movement there is on that pitch.
Dellin Betances now getting up in the Yankee pen. The 3-2. Down and in with a cutter, and Cabrera will draw the walk. A 2-out base runner for the Mets here in this tie game.
Looked like that pitch almost fooled Sanchez. I don't know if he got crossed up or.
I think he just missed it. As Dan talked about, Robertson has that natural cut on it. I think they wanted to perhaps backdoor it, and it did end up down and in, but just missed. And perhaps fortunate for the Yankees that it clipped the home plate umpire Todd Tishner's shin guard, and it ricocheted so it didn't get too far away for Cabrera to go any further than first.
Now Yoenis Cespedes. Cespedes on the night, 1 for 2 with a walk, and the one was a home run back in the third, his 15th of the season. In his career against Robertson, he is 1 for 5 with a couple of strikeouts.
Another look at that home run from earlier back in the third inning. They wanted to go up and in with the fastball. He missed way across the plate, and Judge, with an outstanding effort, almost able to pull it back, but just barely out of his reach. And Cespedes rounded the bases for the 15th time this year, and now with Robertson at 20 pitches.
Hooked foul deep down the line.
Now at 21 pitches, for as nasty as he's been, again, back-to-back outings, more than an inning of work in last night's ball game. It's where you got to start watching and can follow to see if that bite on that breaking ball is still there.
Out in front, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Cabrera a short lead at first, 2 down, and the pitch chased a pitch in the dirt. And that is going to end the inning on the strikeout. 3 strikeouts in the inning for David Robertson. And we'll go to the bottom of the 8th, tied at 2. Aaron Judge, who homered his last time up, due up second for the Yanks.
ESPN Films presents What Carter Lost, August 24th on ESPN.
At Ally, we offer low rates on home loans. But if that's not enough, we offer our price match guarantee, too. And if that's not enough,
we should move.
Our home team will help you every step of the way. Still not enough? We'll help you finance your dream home.
It's perfect. Oh, was this built on an ancient burial ground?
Okay, then we'll have her cleanse your house of evil spirits. We'll do anything, seriously anything, to help you get your home. Ally, do it right.
We're proud to reveal that Jim Beam Black has been awarded the world's highest rated bourbon. Their words, not ours. Make history.
Oh, yeah.
Come boys, let's go. Buddy, leave the car, leave it.
Oh,
we got one.
The all-new Discovery. Land Rover, above and beyond.
Thought the chalupa couldn't get any better? Meet the double chalupa. Get it with a Doritos Locos taco, a crunchy taco, and a medium drink. The new limited edition $5 double chalupa box. Love it while it lasts. Only at Taco Bell.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Office of the Commissioner of Baseball and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent.
Handle that. Aaron Judge due up second for the Yankees here in the bottom of the 8th. The Mets and Yankees all tied up at 2. And last time up, Aaron Judge hit his American League leading 36th home run of the season.
Well, let's take a look at StatCast powered by AWS. The home run that Judge hit, 104 miles an hour, leaving the bat. And you look at it coming in 94. He's got a 10-mile-an-hour difference. That launch angle of 34 degrees. But again, that smooth, simple swing of Aaron Judge, despite the funk that he has been in, able to put barrel on ball and get that opposite field home.
He's on deck right now. Aaron Hicks will lead off the inning. 2-2 tie, bottom 8. And Hicks taking all the way, takes a very close pitch for ball 1. Hicks 1 for 3, singled and scored back in the 4th, hitting .281 on the season. And now right on the inside corner, all even up at a ball and a strike. Hicks, Judge, and Gregorius against Robles here in the bottom of the 8th. Activity in the Mets pen, nothing doing at the moment right now in the Yankee pen. High drive to deep right field, and the Yankees have the lead.
No doubt about it. We just talked about Aaron Judge and the home run that he hit, 104 miles an hour. Aaron Hicks went up some 105. No doubter though, as soon as he made contact, crushed that pitch. He got up in the zone. And how about this crowd? I mean, we talked about it against the Red Sox over the course of the weekend. I mean, not just them understanding how good this team has been and the difference of the last couple years, but how into each pitch. Not just being here in their seats, but being loud. And after that home run, they exploded.
How about what a valuable player Aaron Hicks has become? You know, struggled a little bit last year in his first year in New York after not really being the player the Twins had hoped when they traded him here. And now this year has really had a major impact on this club. And another big hit in a big spot by Aaron Hicks.
Now Aaron Judge, who homered his last time up.
And Hicks really patiently, calmly took the first 2 pitches, and you know, just looking dead red, and right away that big leg kick, gets his foot down, gets into that strong hitting position on time, and he just drops the bat. Almost Ken Griffey Jr.-esque there as he hits a no-doubter to right field.
2-2 to Judge. High, a full count.
And this is what we didn't see earlier in the game against Judge. Up in the zone, saw it a lot when he was facing the Red Sox last night. Booney, you talked about it in the open, but they really were hammering the lower half of the zone. It worked until he adjusted with his home run. That last pitch, they elevated it up.
And a slider to get him for the first out of the inning. Meanwhile, to the Yankee bullpen, and nobody is throwing right now. Hard to imagine Robertson would come back out, as Terry Collins looks like he's going to make a pitching change. Does this mean Dellin Betances, who was up once, so he might not need as long to warm up, does this mean that Betances will close instead of Chapman?
I think absolutely, yeah. I would say after 26 pitches for Chapman, it'll be Betances we'll see in the ninth.
Pitching change for the Mets. The Yankees have the lead.
So if anyone has a reason that these two should not be wed, speak now.
So sorry.
Oh, no.
It's just that your friend Daryl here is supposed to be live streaming the wedding, and he's not getting any service.
I missed, like, the whole thing.
What?
And I just got an unlimited plan.
It's the right plan, wrong network. See, Verizon has the largest, most reliable 4G LTE network in America. It's built to work better in cities. Tell you what, just use mine.
Thanks.
No problem. All right, let's go live. Say hi to everybody who wasn't invited.
When it really, really matters, you need the best network and the best unlimited. Plus, get the Pixel by Google for $5 a month.
There are over 18 million new cars on the road in this country, and at Firestone Complete Auto Care, our 4,000 ASE certified technicians are proud to help keep them running newer, longer. Whatever you drive, drive a Firestone.
4 seconds on the clock. Down by 1. Championship on the line. Aaron, the sharpshooter Shanahan, fakes left. She's outside of the key. She shoots. She scores.
Yes, Aaron, it is a great time to score a deal. We need to make room for the 2018 models.
Relive the thrill of beating the clock. The Volkswagen Model Year-End Event. Hurry in for a $1,000 APR bonus and 0% APR for 60 months on a new 2017 Jetta or Passat.
As a mother of 3, I've seen the positive impact sports have on kids. At Dick's Sporting Goods, we believe everyone should have the chance to play. And if cost ever gets in the way, that goes against everything we believe. So we're stocking new gear at lower prices and introducing the best price guarantee. If you find a lower price from a competitor, we'll match it. Because it's not enough to offer you the best gear. We need to offer it at the best price.
The grandest slam in the world, in the greatest city in the world, collide. Only in New York. Don't miss out on the event of the summer, the 2017 U.S. Open. Get your tickets today.
Monday Night Baseball on ESPN is presented by USAA. Insurance, banking, and investments tailored for the military community. Aaron Hicks with a go-ahead home run here at the bottom of the 8th inning. The Yankees have themselves a 3-2 lead, their first lead of the night. Smiles and showers all around in the Yankee dugout. 3-2 Yankees. Pitching change for the Mets. Veteran left-hander Jerry Blevins into the game.
Another solid year for Jerry Blevins. Nice ERA on the face of lefty. Always very difficult on left-handed hitters. Fastball upper 80s, curveball that he'll throw almost 50% of the time. Excellent strikeout to walk ratio.
Gregorius 0 for 2 with a walk.
Lefties hit just 181 against Blevins this year without a home run allowed against them. Righties, a little bit of a different story, but he's usually just called upon to get lefties.
Slow breaking ball hit weakly out in front of the plate, and Gregorius is retired for the second out. And during the pitching change, as Blevins came to the mound, Joe Girardi on the other side of the field, he got Dylan Betances up. So it is going to be Betances who will be entrusted with the 9th inning here tonight for the Yankees. Meanwhile, that's it for Blevins. One batter, he got his man, and another pitching change coming for the Mets. Eric Goodell on his way in.
Heineken is served in 192 countries. It's world famous. Like me.
Look!
It happens all the time.
He's ready. Oh. Antonio Banderas! It's Antonio Banderas from the movies.
Enjoyed in 192 countries. There's more behind the star.
Touching hands, reaching out, touching me, touching you, sweet Caroline. Good times never seem so good. So good! So good!
Make your commute a little sweeter in the newly redesigned Hyundai Sonata, our best Sonata ever.
I sold my dream house to buy my first Domino's store.
I built my store with my bare hands.
I use my college savings to buy my store. It means everything to me.
But we've decided to tear them down.
We love what we do, but not where we do it. Come and see our remodeled stores when you carry out large 3-topping pizzas for $7.99 each every day.
Hey Siri, take a selfie. Hope it don't cause an eclipse.
Rick and Pedro back in the clubhouse. Reds and Cubs update for you, starting with Chris Bryant, a 2-run home run.
This is exactly what the rest of the NL Central does not want to see. They were good with him laying low. Back-to-back homers now in back-to-back games for him.
Next batter, Anthony Rizzo, back-to-back home runs tonight for Chicago. Bullpen dancing tonight, Dan, after those home runs. All Cubs in this one over the Reds.
They love doing their dancing in that new bullpen in Chicago. Thanks, guys. Look at what's coming up on ESPN this week. Yankees and Mets again, this time from Citi Field on a Wednesday night of the 2017 Little League Classic from Williamsport, PA. The Cardinals and the Pirates Sunday. Note the start time, 7 o'clock Eastern here on ESPN. 3-2 Yankees, bottom 8. 2 down on the bases empty, and another pitcher out of the bullpen for the Mets, right-hander Eric Goodell.
Eric Goodell, fastball low mid-90s, split-fingered fastball is his number 1 secondary pitch. Also mix in a curveball. Done a nice job for the Mets, on for the 22nd time. Has really done a nice job against right-handed hitters. Just 174 batting average against Goodell this season.
Gary Sanchez, a base hit, a sac fly, and a strikeout. A sac fly driving in the first run of the night for the Yankees back in the 4th. They tied it in the 6th on a home run by Aaron Judge, and they took the lead here in the 8th on a home run by Aaron Hicks. Setting it up for Dellin Betances to work the 9th inning and try to get the Yankees back within 4.5 of the Red Sox, who lost earlier tonight to Cleveland. Hard but foul. Again, the 0-2, and it's in the dirt. Ball 1. Looking ahead to the top of the 9th inning for the Mets, it'll be the 4, 5, 6 hitters in Terry Collins' lineup. Michael Conforto, Wilmer Flores, and rookie Dom Smith. Conforto, the cleanup man, with the club leading 26 home runs on the year. High drive to right field. Another home run for the Yankees. Sanchez with his 20th. And it's 4-2.
Well, earlier in the ball game, we saw a similar strategy against Yoenis Cespedes, where the Yankees were trying to run a fastball up and in on the hands with 2 strikes, and they missed their spot badly. And you see Goodell there wanting that ball up and in. Rene Rivera right away knows as that ball leaks up and out over the plate, it becomes a mistake, and Gary Sanchez knows right away he's at an insurance run for the Yankees here in the 9th with their 2nd home run of the 8th inning.
And only Sanchez's 2nd opposite field home run of the season. He had his first come just a few days ago. A guy that really is more pull for his power, but showing that opposite field, especially if you make a mistake up over the middle to away with a fastball.
Tonight is the 139th Major League game of Gary Sanchez's career. He's hit 40 home runs in 139 games.
Yeah. It is remarkable, and he's taken such a back seat this year because of all the attention around Judge. But that 40 homers for a catcher,
he was the guy.
That's
coming out of spring.
Absolutely.
I mean, he was the name, the franchise. I mean, everything that you heard about the Yankees and the youth and what was going to lead this new regime, it was Gary Sanchez.
Now, this is why Yankee fans, regardless of what happens the rest of the way this year, why many of them feel so positively going forward with a Severino, with a Sanchez, with a Judge, with a Gleyber Torres in the minor league system.
Oh,
2-2, and he got him. Headley down on strikes to end the inning, but Hicks and Sanchez both homer in the inning. 4-2 Yankees, and Joe Girardi will give the ball to Dellin Betances to try to lock it up.
Important message for people with IVC filters. The FDA warns that pieces of the can break off in your vein, causing serious injury or death. Call the Guardian Legal Network to speak with an experienced lawyer. If you don't win, you pay nothing.
Are you currently on Medicare? In other words, do you carry the red, white, and blue Medicare card? If so, are you suffering from chronic back pain or knee pain? If you answered yes, you may be eligible for a pain-relieving back brace or knee brace covered by Medicare at little to absolutely no cost to you. Will you qualify for a Medicare-covered back brace or knee brace? There's only one way to find out.
Call the Back and Knee Brace Center at 1-800-803-8513.
I was on heroin.
I used crack cocaine. We are the Addiction Network. And if you have a problem with drugs or alcohol, you need to call the number on your screen now.
Call 800-507-0680.
This is a story about mail and packages, and it's also a story about people. And while we make more e-commerce deliveries to homes than anyone else in the country, we never forget that your business is our business. The United States Postal Service. Priority, you.
Infinity, empower the drive.
My sweetheart's gone, sayonara. This scarf, all that's left to remember.
What? She washed this like a month ago.
The long-lasting scent of Gain, now available in matching scents across your entire laundry routine.
RBI Baseball 2017 is out now for Xbox One, PS4, iOS, and Android. Enjoy fast-paced pick-up and play MLB action, packed with all your favorite MLB teams, players, ballparks, and much more. Your breakout MLB season is here. You better come ready to play. Learn more at RBIGame.com. 4-2 Yankees going to the ninth. Here's Dellin Betances.
Well, the Intimidator, that awesome size, tremendous strikeout capability, and now on to try and close this out as they try and give Chapman a breather after 26 pitches last night. Big fastball. We'll see high 90s with that fastball, but it's a lot of sliders. More than half his pitches will be that slider.
Fastball down and in, missing badly at 99, and Sanchez and the home plate umpire Todd Tichenor checking in with each other to make sure each of them is okay.
That's the one thing you do worry about with Betances. For as great a reliever as he's been, as dominant as he's been, every now and then that command will get away from him. 32 walks this season in only 43 innings. He had a real rough patch around the All-Star break time, but he seemed to have ironed that out.
A little bit low, and he falls behind 3-0 to Conforto. Seven straight scoreless outings for Betances, covering a total of 8 innings. No hits allowed. And right down the middle with a strike, 3-1. No hits allowed in his last 6 appearances, 7 straight scoreless appearances. In the last 6, he has walked 3 and struck out 10. And a bouncing ball to the right side. Betances over to cover, 1 down. Headley continuing to make the transition, at least it appears for the rest of this season, to a lot of first base action, when he of course has been predominantly a third baseman in his career. Frazier now at third after being acquired from the White Sox. Sanchez to the mound to talk with Betances about Wilmer Flores. If it holds up, the Yankees will be 4.5 back of the Red Sox.
Yeah.
With Boston losing to Cleveland earlier tonight. Flores is 0 for 2 with a walk. Well foul. Man, he turned that around though, didn't he? Oh man.
Tough to be that far out in front of a 98-mile-an-hour fastball, but just looking for it and actually a little too quick for it. Probably now might start to get a steady diet of that breaking ball.
Late on this fastball at 101. A couple of other finals tonight. Miami has defeated San Francisco 8-3. Giancarlo Stanton is major league leading 43rd home run of the season. And Toronto has beaten Tampa Bay 2-1. As Roberto Osuna gets the save. Josh Donaldson with a home run for the Blue Jays. One, 2. Just foul. Great effort.
Completely laid out.
Yeah.
Almost made the play of the night down there.
Yeah.
Right field. A little smile. A little.
Yeah. His uniform dirty.
Yeah.
Oh. That's the way we like it, right?
Yeah. Excellent effort. Almost.
Yeah, now he's talking about it. Got stories now.
Yep.
1-2 again. Popped him up. Foul territory. Headley 2 down. SportsCenter will be coming up at 11 o'clock Eastern Time tonight here on ESPN with Neil Everett and Nicole Briscoe. And 5-star high school basketball phenom Marvin Begley will reveal his college decision live on the show. SportsCenter at night also streaming live on the ESPN app. All kinds of major league action, preseason NFL news. NBA schedule was announced today. Here's Dom Smith, who is 0 for 3. The Mets down to their final out. The Mets down to their final strike. Weekly hit past the mound, barehanded, and a wide throw as Wade couldn't get him, and Smith safe at first, and the Mets will bring the tying run to the plate.
Well, this is a mistake by Tyler Wade. I think overestimated Smith's ability to get down the line. I think this is a play if he handles with the glove, he's probably in a better position to make a good throw. And when you barehand, sometimes you don't get the right grip, and if he goes at that with the glove, he probably still has plenty of time to get Dominic Smith going down the line. A little bit rushed, and now that'll bring the tying run to the plate for the Mets.
Scored a base hit on the play for Smith. And it'll bring Ahmed Rosario, the young shortstop, rookie shortstop for the Mets, to the plate with a chance to tie it. Rosario 1 for 3 tonight. And a breaking ball for strike one called.
2 outs here. Headley not holding Smith on at first. You might see him take off just in a defensive indifference situation, just to stay out of that force situation.
There he goes, and the 0-1, a big swing and a miss. 0-2 on Rosario.
And now Rosario should not see another strike in this at bat. A free swinger, way behind in the count now. Just start expanding that zone and seeing how far he'll chase.
And Sanchez, everything changed when a runner got to second, and this is something you see a lot with young catchers these days, is as soon as a runner gets to second, they want to change the signs, talk it over, and make absolutely sure nobody can steal anything.
Something that we think may very well see curtailed next season, as we think those mound visits are going to be limited.
The 0-2 fastball got him. Maybe a couple of inches off the outside corner, but the Yankees get the call and take the game 4-2.
Well, I think definitely off the plate away. Just trying to expand the strike zone with the fastball to probably just get right back to that breaking ball, but they get the call.
I don't think he wanted it to even be a strike. I think, like you said, Booney, they wanted to get him to chase. I think Rosario, even though he has 2 strikes, does a nice job at taking it, although it's pretty close with 2 strikes. At least battle off, but at 101 miles an hour, you have a split second less than that to even react.
Rosario couldn't believe